And we are back once again.
What are we though?
Lost.
Oh. Oh no.
Are you though?
The uncertainty only makes it worse.
See, last time I checked, you actually had a destination and you knew exactly where you were going.
Well, we know where we're going, but we don't know how to get there, so we're just following someone who paid us.
Oh, that's fair.
But yeah, no, I've been having a great week, especially just with all the hangout streams and everything. And then today I got to watch one of my favorite old kaiju movies just because I could, and so I just watched the old
Which one?
Rodan.
Ah.
Yeah, I did not expect that my favorite like kaiju movie would be Rodan when me and my friends sat down just to watch it one night because he just got a bunch of like kaiju DVDs, and
It fucking slaps.
yeah, it actually reminded me a lot. Well, because it was probably one of the prototypes for it. I love the similarities it draws to Shin Godzilla, which sadly I found out both the DVD and Blu-ray that I have of it, because they came in a box set, are not coded to my PS4 as a Blu-ray player. They're
That's
region
fucking
locked.
whack.
Yeah.
It's funny y'all are talking about this because, like, literally, like, late last night, I was, like, binge watching The Man in the Suit again. Which, for those that don't know, is the Godzilla analog horror.
I've heard
That
about it.
sounds
I have not
amazing.
seen it.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
It's a good one.
So just getting some things going in the background here, making sure everything's...
I was gonna say, this is some weird Fate Extra CCC.
Oh. What fucking was yesterday, man?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I can't believe the new Dreadlord was rewritten by Saris to be BB.
Saris would never do that to themselves.
Yeah, no, I'm not that much of a masochist. Please, listen.
Listening?
We have standards in this house.
Since when?
Damn it, Citric.
I got standards. They're pretty fucking low, but they're there somewhere.
Let's put it this way. At least we have, in our current company, a 0% chance of panty shots today. So we're already doing better than yesterday.
You know, you're right. You are right. You are absolutely right about
You
that.
think so?
Is
You don't
that
know
what
what
you're
Rosman's
asking for?
packing.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. There is a possibility only if because he's the only one not wearing pants.
Free balling, baby.
Shit, I'll get the MS Paint out.
Some things don't need to exist.
You're sure right
I feel
about
like
that.
that might be pushing.
And
The
some
line.
things really, really do.
And some exist despite every inclination.
I feel like
Mhm.
that drawing of fucking Humphrey is my bat signal.
Listen, you made something that outlived a single use. It's it's evergreen.
It'll outlive me.
That's your legacy. How does it feel?
Great, actually.
You know what I can't wait for? Honest to goodness. Flash forward 5 years. Zan has magically improved through sheer will and skill and doodling, and decides to come back as we do whatever it is that we're doing. Come together and for good times and merriment, and he drops So I did a redraw of this art from 5 years ago, and he slaps it in front of us, and it
That would be
is a
amazing.
fully rendered, still MS Paint, but fully rendered, beautiful Humphrey ass.
The worst part is that you could talk to Jack and he'd be all about drunk shit like this.
He would, you're right.
Like as hyper realistic of detail as you could get
Yep.
in MS Paint.
Like photorealistic gelatin chicks.
Worst part is it really would be photorealistic, wouldn't it?
Yep.
He'd
The
go
man has
all
a-
out on it.
The man knows what he does.
Mhm.
He does it
100%.
well.
Yes, he does. 100%.
That's it. Who wants to start going around the horn first?
Not it.
Citric.
Fine. I was suffering, but thank you for throwing me on the bus.
You're welcome.
Hi there, I'm Cedric. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Cedric King, everywhere being Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Not much going on my end other than showing up in here. But yeah, always good to follow me around to whenever I do shit.
I'm always
So-
following you around, Citric.
The cake is that magnetic, I know. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much me. So I'm throwing it back to what about Kaz?
Oh, there we go. Hi, I'm Kaz. You can find me here, except when you can't.
Nice.
But I'm Catastrophe Cos on pretty much all platforms. I'm literally up to absolutely nothing except for
Heck yeah.
just
Good.
existing.
Good.
And I work on the occasional thing, except when I'm not.
Get
And,
that rest.
I know. I've needed it. I've been brain dead for the last month, and honestly, it's basically just been the most I can do. But I am getting back into designing some stuff, so I have some things in the works, and I've been working on this art for a while, and I'm insane, and it's fine, but I will have that ready to share soon-ish. But yeah, besides that, I'm just vibing. I'm just here. I'm doing photography next weekend. I'm doing art again. I don't know.
Let's go.
We're trying to revitalize some things that I haven't been able to do in a while. So if you want to follow me, you can do that. And I have like a bunch of linked accounts through my main account that has all my photography and art stuff too. So you can find them all through there. I'm not gonna list them all because frankly I don't remember what they're all called, and that's fine. But yeah, that's me. I'm gonna throw Zan under the bus.
Oh, let's go. You can catch me. Hey, it's me, Zan. You can catch me moving over to fucking wherever Citric's at. Place looks fucking beautiful. But until then, you can catch me over on Blue Sky at Xanolus You can also catch me over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Xanolus where tomorrow I will be streaming. Assuming everyone is alive and healthy, including myself, considering the wildfires here out in LA are choking me out with smoke at present. You can catch me streaming there over around 7 p.m. PST-ish. Then on Tuesdays, you can catch me over at twitch.tv/Distortion Devil, where we are continuing our playthrough of Vecna Eve of Ruin. That will be around 2 p.m. PST. Thursday, you can catch me over twitch.tv/Montyglue for some more Dungeon of the Mad Mage content and around. We're pretty deep into that module, so if that is something you're interested in, that will be there. And then twitch.tv/Unexpectables on Saturday, you can at 6 p.m. PST, you can catch me going through some more Gateway. So if you like Fallout, that's there for you as well. And aside from that, I'm gonna dribble the talking skull for a little bit before tossing it up to specifically Skelly to slam dunk it.
Oh god! I put out my hands in like a ring, like to make the basket. Hi, I'm Skelly Alpha, found on Blue Sky and Twitch. Same both locations. Next week, I'm gonna be starting to boot up some long-term games as streams. Specifically, I'm gonna be showing people how Vintage Story plays. Going to also like start doing like a satisfactory play for like vibes for
Ooh.
people to just hang out to.
Let's go.
And keeping an eye out for that Abiotic Factor update because that's due in the immediate future.
Let's also go.
Yeah. And other than that, in I guess tabletop news, I might have gotten roped up into a little bit of something funny and pirate oriented over in Noise Pollution. It's going to be an extremely intermittent game, but at least it is a little bit of something. That being said, I am still looking for something like large, long term, and very consistent. So if people know anything or anyone, let me know, and I will be absolutely happy to like hook something up. Latter part of the week, I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to go visit some family, so I'm very excited for that. And that's really it for me. I will pass it over to Saris.
Hello. You can find me all over the internet at Tixdixel, where I'm doing art. I've got that, and also on my cosplay account, I've got a lot of things hidden in the works. A lot of quiet from me is not because I'm not working on things, as Kaz knows. And pretty much all of the guys here know I've been working on some art stuff and some cosplay stuff behind the scenes, specifically to do some surprise stuff, as well as I've got that tarot series that I've been working on. We are in the rendering stage of my next card. It may still take me a minute before I actually post anything, but things are happening, things are in the works, things are coming. Next Friday, you can find me on Skelly's channel with I don't know if anyone else is joining us, but you can find us at Skelly's channel where we found our son. Finally,
We found Sun.
We found our son, and we might actually beat the game next week. Debatable, whether or not it'll be next week or the following week. But we are in endgame now. Now that we have Cooper, which I do have to state, I'm pleased to announce that I was right the whole time, and he was being held hostage by Koopa Coot. You can hold your applause, but I was right the whole time. Man is sus. He's in our walls and he won't leave.
He taunted us with pieces of his shell.
He did, and we are. You know what? Revenge is sweet. It's a damn shame that they won't let us bash him with the B button.
That man needs to be behind bars.
But besides
Or
that,
beaten
I
with
believe.
bars.
No kidding, right? Besides that, I might pop around. We'll see. We'll see what other streams are going on. As far as I'm aware, we have no Saturday stream and no Sunday stream next week, so that leaves us with Vaughn.
Yeah, hi. I still am very up in the air about what streams will be happening this coming week. The streams I do know will be Phasar Live, should be up this week unless there's a scheduling conflict. That'll be Tuesday. And then on Saturday, we have the end of the holiday hiatus for Saved by the Spell, and we'll be returning. But with that out of the way, I think it's time for us to play our lovely theme song by Wiley Iswilly. I need to get used to his new username. Okay, let me just do.
Silver lining, house for yourself.
No, it was actually really, as a result, was a very productive day today.
Yeah,
Heck
I
yeah.
know. Big shocker. Amazing what happens when everyone leaves.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for several hours today. Do you
Like,
need
oh
anything? No.
no. No, actually, I need all the things. I need you to go to 4 stores, and
I need you to not be here for several hours. Can you do
yeah.
that for me?
I will give
Thanks.
you money to stay at a hotel. How's that sound?
Yeah.
What's
Not
the,
gonna lie, there's been some times I've been tempted.
what was the meme? Like, I give you $500 to fuck off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like
Yeah.
literally.
No, 100%. 100%. So, no, she was like I said, she was just checking in. We're all good. Everything's good. For the homies who don't know, the Midwest is getting hit yet again with snow. Um it's really coming down, at least where I'm at. So we're good. We're vibing. But with that, I see Vaughn is back.
Yes, and
Welcome back, Vaughn.
I definitely didn't forget to unchange the title and what we are actually streaming until right now. Totally did.
Repeat.
Oh, professional.
Fate Extra CCC looks really weird.
I did not pick up on that.
Oh no!
I have been...
Whoops.
Welcome to the new domain of dread, I guess.
Well, now it's fixed.
Congratulations,
We
we're
can, we
on the
can call
moon.
it Fey and Dread.
Oh lord, if we had werewolves on the moon, how would that even work?
Oh boy, I love Digital Dread Saga.
So, as our sessions usually go, who would like to do the honor of telling us what happened? What was it? 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago.
It
Thanks,
was 3
Annihilation,
weeks
anyway.
ago.
Yeah, it was 3 weeks ago.
Not it.
Yeah, I will fall on the sword this one, so Cedric doesn't have to.
I'll get next
And
week.
I
Next
totally
time, rather.
did not just take notes this morning because I forgot. But yeah, so last session we had a lot of dream sequences. I think everyone but Razvan had some sort of dream, some good, some bad, some weird. Branson was particularly put off by his because it was really nice until it wasn't. Well, he woke up to the not nice anymore. We got to meet Lena's friend. It was all good. Well, the party didn't, but you guys did. And then we got back on the road, and we found a cart full of deceased. And they were killed in some very suspicious circumstances, but they had a lot of food on them, so we took that. And that's kind of about it.
It's true.
We had a lot of character moments, but
Nothing happened yet.
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 That's how it always is
Keyword
in
being
this.
yet.
Yeah.
Any other details anyone else would like to add?
As far as what we found in the cart, it was particularly special that weapons and armor seem to have been taken away, but more than that, we found every possible water container destroyed.
Yep.
And all the food was left, or at least it
Mhm.
didn't look like much was missing.
Correct.
That and we kind of has a much stronger confirmation that Ophestiel might have been pulled here by Branson's nemesis, and that has many horrible, horrible implications about our situation. That was the only big thing I could think of.
No, yeah. Absolutely. Cass, do you have a die of inspiration?
I do.
Okay. For this turn, or for this game, rather. This turn. Only this turn. This exact 6
You
seconds.
get
No.
one.
You get one. No, for the rest of the session, I would like you to pick one skill, and you are now proficient in it for the rest of the session.
Okay. I guess I will go with Constitution.
Okay. Constitution. Do you mean like specifically
You said
a skill?
skill, sorry.
Yes.
Part of you cut off and I was
Oh,
inferring.
sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes, skill.
I
One
inferred
skill.
wrong. Let's go with perception.
Okay, perception. So, the party had reconvened together, if I remember correctly, in having Branson and Humphrey, if I remember correctly, you were the two that went out into the mist to investigate the cart. The two of you had shared your findings with the rest of the party. And as we start once again, I would really love and appreciate perception checks from everyone.
Oh boy.
Righty.
Oh, yeah.
15 for me.
That's a 10.
You know me out here rolling a 9.
Middle of the road, 14.
This feels very appropriate, actually, given and you added, I know that you have a 17 on here. Do you have proficiency in that? Normally? Normally?
Normally, no.
Okay, so that's actually going to be a 19.
Cool.
This feels very appropriate because Razvan and Lena, I'm not really sure what exactly the two of you are doing in this exact moment. You both miss it. But Humphrey, Branson, and Ephestial, all three of you notice there's movement happening with the mists. Not just where the cart is, but it seems off on the other side of the road. There is an area of the mist that seemed to be wafting almost in like an eddy. Not quite a full vortex, but like in an eddy sort of movement. And Ephestial, you specifically, with a 19, notice the trees almost bending away from this eddy, as if nature itself does not want to touch that current.
Despite Humphrey unsheathed his rapier and in a lower tone, but enough to be heard, he says, something's moving.
It stirs the mists, but as long as we get ahead of it, we'll probably be safe as long as it doesn't try to break the current.
So, just to be clear, it's an eddy in the mist.
Yes.
Is it like ahead of us or is it off to the side?
It's a little bit off the path, but it is up the road. So a little bit of both.
Okay.
Is everything okay up there?
The mist seems to be moving. I don't know if that means we should start moving.
Lena would probably look behind at the mists that are encroaching from the back and kind of grimaces a little and says, "Oh, most likely. Best to keep going."
Whatever it wanted us to see, probably it's done. It made a space for this cart. But I do not like this much attention or movement.
Branson will once again take his gauntlet off, wet his finger, and hold it up. Is it still basically traveling on the same wind current?
Correct.
Well, if we're lucky, the next current of wind could change and start blowing it away.
As soon as you say that, the eddy stops. Like a... And then mist sort of almost... You would almost expect it to clap like thunder, and yet it doesn't. It is silent. It is not so forceful as to create that sort of roar. But
Speaking of,
the mist... Huh?
I was gonna say, speaking of clapping, there you go, Citric.
God damn it.
So, the mist stops, but it practically closes for just a moment before the mist starts to, I would not say that it fully sinks, but in the sense that surrounding you, the fog has been very thick and it has filled the air entirely. You watch as that particular segment of the mist begin to lower closer and closer to the ground, as if spreading itself out to be thin. Ephestrial, you see a silhouette in just that portion, just that area of the mists.
Is it another humanoid silhouette?
Whatever it is, it's low to the ground. It's hard to see, but it's possible.
He's going to run back up to Branson if we are in our same formation as before.
We were moving when we finished up last session, I believe. So yeah, he'd be just behind you if you're facing the mist.
Yeah, he'll run up and tap your arm. Mr. Branson. I can't tell what that is, but I think there's something out there in the mist. Do you see it?
Does he see it now that it's been pointed out to him?
Yes, you do.
Well, Branson's going to think he doesn't want to possibly destroy the mist again. That he feels like that was the biggest mistake he's made since coming here. But since he has no other way to dispel it, and this thing hasn't like responded whenever we like called out to it on several occasions, like everyone's aware that we're being followed. At this point, Branson's just going to shrug and do. She got put away. There it is. Where are you? Does an 18 hit it?
You hear the sound. It's very difficult to hear from this distance, but you hear the sound of blade penetrating flesh.
But only
But all
that.
is quiet. But only that.
Well, at that point, like, he's going to check for the lantern.
It has not changed.
Well, whatever it is, it has a high tolerance for pain. I made purchase, but it didn't make a sound. And there's no one dead within 300 feet of us. Though now I'm not probably going to get that axe back.
Still, I wonder if this water, as it was, is meant to move in such a direction. Is this a normal occurrence when it comes to the mist? This vortex?
Miss Lena, you are, well, and Mr. Lichi, you both are, or residents, is this normal at all?
Uh, yes and no. The mist has always been very strange in how it seems to follow people. People disappear in it, never to be seen again. Individuals traversing it, I originally thought was just rumor. Uh, but that has been disproven multiple times already, so I'm willing to expect the unexpected now.
Well, this conversation is happening. Like, Humphrey is not taking his eyes out of the well, non-existent eyes out of the silhouette on the mist.
Okay. The mist itself has not changed since. Well, the most it is quote unquote changed is the axe flying through it, but it goes back to its normals, its previous state. I would not say normal, its previous state.
But the silhouette has moved at all, or just stands there?
It's like it's waiting. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, will do. That's a 22.
Okay. It's like it's like it's waiting. It's like it's waiting. You don't need an insight check for that. It's not quite beckoning. That would require to determine that would require an insight check, but it's still, it's like a pond waiting for movement, waiting to be disrupted.
Humphrey looks back at the group. I am about to do something stupid. Be ready to cover my back.
Be careful.
Against.
There's something I just remembered. I know my axe made purchase, but there was no sound. There's only one other creature that isn't undead that would have that problem. But I'm not risking losing one of my silvered hand axes to test it.
Well, Humphrey, it is very few things I have ever seen you do that would be considered stupid. I think everything that you have done thus far has been quite magnificent, and I look forward to whatever it is you're going to accomplish next. You'll get bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'll say...
Humphrey looks back. Humphrey looks back at the both of you and tips his hat.
Hate to see you go, Humphrey. Love to watch you walk away.
Meanwhile, Branson's just going to hold out his hand in the same manner that he used to dispel the mist the first time, in case anything goes wrong.
And against every instinct that Humphrey has to just stay away from the mist, he will grip his rapier tighter and walk forward.
As you walk forward, Humphrey, the mist doesn't fully close behind you necessarily. It doesn't block you off from being able to see your companions. But as you feel the mist swirl around your feet, two things I would like from you: a perception check and another wisdom saving throw.
Will do. Perception first. That's 23.
Okay. And that wisdom save?
14.
So, as the mists make contact with your body, you feel the sense of something very akin to what you originally felt back at home before you were pulled into the carnival. But with that familiar recognition, you try to steel yourself. You take stock of the area around you and you keep pushing forward. And as you start to move deeper into the mists, You do see a humanoid figure laying in the ground, and you see an axe lodged into its chest, as its chest and stomach are up, facing the sky. On its back, its legs flopped to the side, and its arms laid out like someone who was maybe not necessarily resting, but certainly prone.
Do I see any movement on the torso that wouldn't tell this person is breathing?
No.
And I do recognize the axe as one of Branson's.
Absolutely. And by the way, with what you can see here, you don't need a medicine check. With the way that it is sticking out of this person's chest, if they weren't dead if they weren't dead before, they certainly are now. Anything beyond that would require a medicine check, but you can definitely tell if they were not dead before that landing of the axe. Absolutely 100% would have killed them instantly.
Humphrey approaches slowly and well with his guard up, and trying to discern as much as he can from this person laying down.
Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no. Humphrey walks forward with his guard well up and trying to discern as much as he can of this person in the ground.
That's what I thought you said. I wasn't sure. Okay, go ahead and roll me a medicine check then.
Alrighty. Medicine. Ah, yeah. That's a nat 20.
Natural 20. So here's the first thing that catches your eye. Now that you are closer on the body, you look where that axe penetrated the chest. You see some blood, but you don't see a lot. And you know a cut like that directly into somebody's heart should produce a lot more blood than that. But what you do notice almost immediately is a slash mark at the throat and all of the blood. Dried blood at that particular wound. You notice the look on this person's face, their eyes staring up to the sky, surprised. And as you continue to look around, you do not see any other wounds on this person's body. You also, for the record, do not see signs yet of rigor mortis, or shall we say, ecosystemic feeding.
And around the body, do I see any tracks?
You do not.
Not even these persons, as if they were walking and just fell down.
It's almost like they were placed there. Like
Humphrey
someone
looks
had
up.
just dropped them into the ground.
Yeah, Humphrey looks up.
You see the trees. You see the tree line. You see mist. And you see one thing. For a moment, you're not even sure if it was real, but you swore you saw a raven somewhere in the tree line looking down at you. But then as you don't blink, you're a gelatinous ooze, but if you could blink, it would feel like that, like it was there and then it was gone. Really quickly, there's one more thing I would like you right now in this moment to do, and that's a Constitution saving throw.
Shit. Just out of curiosity, Bardic Inspiration, I can add that to saves, right?
You can add that to any d20 roll.
Heck yeah. And I can do that after the fact?
Yes.
Awesome. Then hiya. That's an 18.
Okay. Something very different, very odd. There's, for a moment, a really you recognize the smell. You recognize the smell, that very moldy, mildewy smell, and you look down at the ground, and you see what almost looks like ink starting to drip out of this person's nose.
Humphrey
out from
takes a step back at
Underneath
that.
out from underneath their fingernails as well. Nothing happens to you, but you recognize that smell. As you watch, as if coming up from underneath the ground, you start to see roots, decrepit, covered in that fungus that you saw before, slowly but surely beginning to reach out. And it's slow, it's not fast. Reaching out and wrapping around the feet, the ankles, and then the arms, and then the hair, and around the neck.
Humphrey starts walking back slowly, making sure people, like the rest of the party, is still behind that faint mist, but trying not to lose sight of the body, just in case.
Okay. Really quickly, while this is going on, what is the rest of the party? What have you been doing?
Well, Branson.
Lena has.
Oh, go ahead.
Lena was keeping an eye out on the behind the caravan specifically, since the mists were encroaching from that direction. At least at the moment, so she'd probably be located near the back of the caravan.
Say that's where Branson would be too, because he's kept his hand outstretched, prepared to cast Create and Destroy Water at the drop of any sign of like immediate danger or Humphrey's safety.
Festial was watching Humphrey investigate this body, hoping that he didn't just incite murder.
Fair enough. Did I hear from Rasvan or no?
Rosvan is studying the mists, just kind of watching them and keeping close to the caravan.
Do me a favor then. Roll me a nature check.
Nature. That is a 17.
As you watch the mists, something catches your eye. Branson had pointed out the direction of the current, the wind. Yeah, sure. In some capacities, these mists seem to be rolling in that direction, but largely the immediate thing that catches your eye is they do not seem to move. They don't seem to follow the current of the wind. At least not entirely. Like you would expect if the wind would roll a mist along, that the mist would actually move with the current in its full, right? That it would travel. While this mist is growing, it does not diminish. It does not move in the sense that you would expect it to. If anything, it's just getting bigger progressively. Sure, it's following that current, but it doesn't leave anything behind. It in the sense of like, oh, it passes over and now it's gone and it's left that area. No, instead it continues to move, but there's more lit mists left in its stead. And that is what you are able to determine on a 17 nature check. Humphrey, you keep your eyes back and forth, if you will, between the body and the Caravan. When you return to the caravan, the mists have not moved yet. They have not changed their position. You can still see the figure. I do have to ask, did you take the axe? Or did you leave it?
No, at the side of the trees trying to take it back, Humphrey would have actually left it there.
Okay, then yeah, you still see the silhouette of the body and you see the silhouette of the axe. Shrouded in mist. As you return.
Still not willing to give his bag to the figure behind, Humphrey will side look at the rest of the party. Well, in one hand, Mr. Branson, you did not kill an innocent person.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
On the second one, and Humphrey will quickly retail pretty much everything he can about his findings there. The lack of tracks, the slash mark on the neck, and the growing plants. Also, when you mentioned the ink, like ink pouring from under it, does that ink look at all like the one in Humphrey's dream?
Roll me an intelligence check with advantage.
Check. Alrighty. That's a 21.
I would say it resembles it, certainly. There are definitely similarities.
Hmm. Let me try something. He's going to get up to the edge of the mist, so that way he's still not in it, but he can get a pretty good survey of the area that he's about to detect in as do. Detect evil and good.
Okay.
So he'll just scent the air with his tongue and try to detect if there's any signs of desecration or if there's any other things that could be influencing things around us right now.
Roll me a percentile. D100.
25.
25. You detect nothing. Nothing pings your senses. No signs of consecration or desecration. No signs of undead, fiend, fae, celestial. It goes off, and as far as you're concerned, as far as you can tell, nothing of the sort has occurred here.
Knowing that, at least so far, he'll feel brave enough to walk towards the silhouette really quickly and fetch his axe.
You are able to do so. There is a little bit, not a great deal, not as much as you would expect, of blood on the axe. But you see, especially since Humphrey pointed it out and was describing what he saw, you see everything that Humphrey had described.
Can Branson do either an intelligence check or an investigation? Because now he's looking at the body. I just want to find out something that wasn't checked before, which is, does this look like someone familiar? As in, a body that we saw not just maybe an hour ago.
Go ahead and roll me. I do think this would be like an intelligence check. So go ahead and roll me an intelligence check.
That's a 3.
You have no idea.
Well then, matter of factly, just puts it back on its L hook, walks back out of the mist, but he's keeping concentration for tech, evil, and good now because there's too much stuff going on. So you guys will just constantly see him slipping his tongue in and out of his mouth, which the angriest blip.
He's doing that lizard flick.
Well,
also, I did roll a save instead of a check. Sorry, it's 19, not 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheater.
How dare you?
But yeah, Branson will just come back out, and between bleps, will just go. As far as I know, it's just another random body this wood has claimed. I'm keeping track on the air if anything awful comes our way. But for now, we're at our safest. As long as the mists don't encroach too much farther, I think we shall be fine if we keep moving.
I agree. I don't want to stay in one place and keep moving forward as much as possible. So shall we continue?
Mm-hmm.
Looks at the rest.
You know, we stay out here, the less I'm inclined to like it, so I think we should keep going.
That's a terrifying sentiment for a druid to have, so I think we should follow on it.
Well, we should follow your lead then, of course.
I agree as well. Continuing to move is a good idea.
Well, considering you guys are the I wouldn't say experts, but are the guiding folk, the guiding sort. I agree. And Lychee just, gives the oxen a pat on the caduceus and continues walking.
Humphrey will try to climb back to his center position.
Acrobatics.
Will do. Are you? Here we go. Hiya. That's 22.
You managed to do so very, very successfully and with ease.
Yeah. Stealth?
Sure, absolutely, go for it.
Hiya. 22.
You're just on it tonight.
Humphrey logged in, yeah.
He's ready. So,
Yep.
are we back to our normal positions?
Yeah.
Okay. The first thing, as all of you are keeping tabs, every single one of you notices that as you continue to move, the mists sweep over the cart and all of the bodies on both parts of the road, and eventually overtake them to the point where they are no longer visible. I would like... You know what? Make this interesting. Let me grab. Ooh. Lena, roll me a D100.
Oh, you got it. Two.
A 2. That's kind of incredible. As over the next hour, the mists fully fade,
Ooh.
fully dissipating, vanishing and drifting off, moving elsewhere into the Wildersung Woods. Until eventually, over the course of that hour, they fade completely, and you are no longer shrouded in mist.
Humphrey feels a lot more at ease as the mist starts to walk away.
As the mists leave, I would like everyone to continue to roll me perception checks.
That's a 15.
Oh.
It'll be a 13.
Right,
Right.
because you have
Yeah.
proficiency.
I can
Hmm?
math.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's a soft 20.
I have an 18.
The idea of anyone beating Humphrey on a perception check, it boggles the mind.
So, a soft 20, Razvan. First thing that you notice as the mists completely fade, you see a couple things. And the first thing almost feels there's something off about it, but at the same time feels like a breath of fresh air. You hear the sounds of buzzing, clicking, and chirping. You hear the sound of life. It had been so long since you actually heard consistently the sounds of life in this wood. But it doesn't stop there. As you look behind you and around you, you notice there is still that presence of that black fungus. But there's something weird. You can't quite pinpoint it about its current. You swear, at least on one of them, that black haze that one of you had seen before. You're seeing it now. There's almost this black haze, even though there's no mist. And it, for the record, it doesn't really look like a mist itself. It does quite look like like someone had put almost like a when you look through like a blurry camera that has like a filter over top of it. It almost looks like that, but only around the patches of black fungus you're seeing on the trees. And your eye notices you see what looks to be some type of it's almost like a squirrel, but there's something about it that's a little off. It's got like a narrower face. Its fur is much more thin. Its arms a little bit longer, a little bit lankier, a little bit bonier. Its teeth protruding almost like a rabbit's out of its face. You watch as this creature, still with its big bushy tail, but it's super ratty, and the fur itself is very much a mixture of brown and red. As it hops across the foliage towards this tree, and upon reaching it, almost like reaching that like area where that haze is, it almost like flinches very visibly before scurrying off in a different direction, like a primal it just spotted some prey and it's running kind of run, or a predator and it's running kind of run. You notice that.
It is hard to say exactly what is ahead, but it would appear that there are signs of life once more. Whatever form of creatures might exist in their manner certainly do seem to be existing in great number ahead.
Let me be the optimist and take that as a positive.
As we travel with those native to these lands, perhaps they could have a keener perception on it if they scout out ahead.
I say you'll just hear a hopeful sigh from Branson at the idea that there's something that could be hunted.
Lena, do you mind using what magics you might have or the perceptions you may have to employ to see what might be ahead of us?
Certainly. I will do my best to try and sense something. Um, And she would kind of like try her best to like focus in on the things that she can like sense, obviously like hearing and smell and the like. Um, to see if anything picks up unusually. And I guess Vern will also like look around too.
I'll go ahead and say that Vern is giving you the help action. Go ahead and roll me another perception check. I have not ignored your previous one, but this is going to be specific to what Razvan has pointed out.
I'll take a not natural 20.
So you're specifically looking for signs of life?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you hear it. You hear the chirping, the occasional buzzing. It's very soft, it's very faint, but considering you were walking in silence for so long, it's easy to pick up on. You don't see anything immediately in terms of Vern's vision, right? There's not really anything that quite catches your eye, but you certainly hear it. You certainly hear the sounds and the signs of life that you didn't previously hear at all in these woods.
After listening for a minute or two, she would turn back to Razvan and say, I certainly hear the forests moving, but as it should be, interestingly enough. Small prey and creatures, although faint, are making the usual sounds you would expect, unlike how deathly silent it was before. Somewhat relieving, if you ask me, but don't sense anything at least out of the ordinary.
And perhaps we should continue moving forward. We have the blessing of not having the mist ahead of us. Might as well take advantage of it, eh?
Just remember that just because we now have signs of life, that were creatures are also signs of life. So be very careful.
I'm not worried. Most of the were creatures, some of the were creatures have been very kind.
Exactly one.
I'm sure we have met others that we have not been aware of. But regardless, let's move on.
A 19. Humphrey.
Yes.
The first thing that catches your eye as you look up, I had mentioned before that blackish haze on the fungus. You see it in the leaves and in the tree line. And the more that you look, listen, you're not necessarily the biggest expert on nature, but you don't need to be a druid to recognize when you see not only fungus on leaves, but when you see rot, when you see decay, when you see the way that leaves will change their color as they are dying. You don't need, you've seen that before. It may look a little different in Eberron than it does here, but you know what that looks like. You've experienced it. You know when you see things dying in nature that you're familiar with. And this, make no mistake, shrouded in that black haze, all of these trees, as far as you can see, left, right, forward, back, every single one of them is covered in this haze, and its leaves seem to be unhealthy.
Mr. Festial,
Yes. How can I help
have
you?
you noticed have you noticed the trees?
I can't help but notice the trees.
We saw a little bit back then, but it's coming back in strength in this area. I don't know why.
You know, it's maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just being paranoid, but now that there are other signs of life, and yet the trees are dead, I can't help but think that this black fungus everywhere, I have a weird theory about it. Call me crazy. You found it on that body in the woods, yeah?
Right, it seemed to come alive and try and start claiming it. But it seemed like it was there for a while. Why?
I hope I'm wrong. But there's a possibility that this fungi is consuming living matter. Just like the trees. Potentially that's what's making it so abundant and dangerous. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine. You have a better eye for things like this than me. Certainly more expertise.
Like I said, I hope I'm wrong, but it's just a crazy theory that maybe this fungi is using like life matter to gain some sort of sentience, or at the very
Traveling
least it
along,
makes it more powerful.
traveling along with people carrying it unknowingly. That would be terrifying.
I mean, this is a deadly killer if I ever saw one.
But something really odd with the body back there was just was dropped there. I mean, I don't know if dropped, but as if it just appeared there. No tracks, no signs of it either being dragged or just walking by itself, and certainly dead before we found it.
At the very least, the fact that it was found alone is weird. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to come into these woods by themselves. And, I mean, you know, back at home I used to live in the woods by myself, but those woods didn't try to kill me on the daily, so...
See, that sounds pleasant. Can we go there?
No, it wasn't too bad. I'd love to have you over sometime. But... it is odd, and, you know, just like you and Bronson and Ross Vaughn appeared here, and just how I appeared here, I hate to think that person was living a completely different life up until then, but you said they were already nearly dead, right?
They were certainly dead before we found them. The slash marks on their neck, the blood loss, there was no chance of them being alive.
Well, I don't know where they came from, but this mist seems to move things about as if time and space doesn't matter, so... I have no idea where they could have come from, but they might not have been here. They might have come from elsewhere.
So the mist just dropped them there.
I didn't want to say anything to the rest of the group because I don't want to freak anyone out, but I keep seeing faces in these mists.
Unsettling but not surprising. I just know nothing good can come out of these mists.
Oh, clearly not.
I mean, you being the exception, of course.
Oh, you're such a charmer. Yeah. No, I don't know. At this point, we can only theorize. I'm very curious to get to this Skald place soon. I have a lot of questions. But I know we still have quite a long ways to go. So we just have to survive until then and gather information as we come about it.
Sounds like a plan.
Branson,
Mm-hmm.
on your 15 perception, first things first, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy. Surprisingly, one of the ones he doesn't have proficiency in. That's a 4.
Something smells really off. You didn't really notice it before, but now you notice it plainly now.
Mm.
And in this exact moment, I'm trying to think of how I would like to roll this. In this exact moment, you feel yourself. You don't take any status effects. You do take a little bit of damage. Yeah, just 3 points of poison damage.
So 1 point because Yanti.
Yep.
Oh.
Which it feels appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
but you start to feel sickly.
Oof. Cover your mouths if you have a way to. And he's going to take his bandana from off his arm and tie it around the lower half of his face. Something most likely died and is very much rotting around here.
Here's the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
With your sense of perception, you actually realize that you can tell where it's coming from.
Oh, where?
It's coming from you. It's coming from you.
Wait, what?
It's coming from your axe.
He pulls... Oh, my hand axe I just threw?
Mm-hmm. It's coming from your axe.
Alright. At this point now, he's going to investigate what he sees, because as you said, there was very little blood, so he probably would have just... He wouldn't have even wiped it off. He probably would just wash it the next time we get to running water.
Right. And because you didn't clean it off, you now look at it and there are black spots on the edge of your blade where that blood is.
Oh, Festiel.
Oh, yeah, yes.
First, cover your mouth and nose. You're going to need to.
He'll take his scarf that's tied around his neck and untie it and just drape it around his nose and mouth.
He'll walk over. Is this akin to some of that rot I heard you two talking about a little while ago? And he will show the black spots that used to be blood.
Is it?
You don't need to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. Definitely is.
Well,
Some nasty stuff.
and fast acting, it's only been about an hour since I pulled it from the carcass.
So it did come from the body. Was afraid of that.
Well, do you have any magical way to clean this? Because we don't have any running water.
Don't think I do.
Basically, he's...
Yeah, I do not.
Yeah. He's basically prestidigitation checking... Yeah, don't know why I can't say that word. Checking you.
Prestidigitation. Yeah, nope.
Oh, well. It's gonna be like, Alright. Let's see here. What can I do about this?
Oh, I have an idea. He will go off the path and grab the biggest leaf he can find and try to use it as like a napkin.
I'm actually going to require you to roll a survival check on this one.
Okay. That'll be a 9.
You do that thing where you like like you wish you had tongs, so you're only gonna take like your pointer and your thumb, and you pluck what you think is probably the cleanest leaf out of all the leaves that you've been able to see. You do like a double, triple check. You don't see any black spots. Then you waddle back over, and you have a leaf.
That's a leaf.
But you could try to scoop the fungi off of your axe. It's better than touching it with your hands.
Fair enough. Branson's just gonna, in his head, this is the most druid way to solve a problem he's ever seen. He'll take it. And he just takes the leaf and he starts to try to, just between thumb and forefinger on either side of the leaf, go up and down the blade of his axe a couple times to see if he can get anything off.
You get everything off.
Alright.
And it's all over that leaf.
Well, something new we need to know about dead bodies here. They quickly become infected with some kind of horrible fungus.
Yes, I would toss that if I were you.
That's what he did. He literally just unheld his fingers and let the wind take it. And then he's just gonna rehook his belt back on and then take the bandana off his face and fasten it to his arm.
Also on a 15.
Mm-hmm.
You also notice the spots of black haze. One of the other things that you notice, for a moment, the smallest of moments, your lantern flickers before going normal again.
I would say because Ophestiel's pretty much right in front of him, you will watch as when that blue light goes off, his eyes dilate and a vein starts to throb in his neck, and then once it goes off, goes back to normal, he very much quickly calms down and a snap of the fingers, and then he's just going to get mad and just smack his hand against the side of the caravan. This damned place.
Are you alright?
Something about these lands. One of the only tools I was able to acquire from my task and my quest was this lantern. When its light shines blue, that means there's an undead within 300 feet of us. So either there's a powerful undead that can mask its presence, or the land is just a blight in itself.
Either is possible, I guess.
Well, thank you for your help.
Nice.
Hephaestiel and Lena, both of you notice as you're walking something very particular after all of these different moments have passed. And at this point, I would note that another hour has passed in your journey. The two of you both notice, and it's weird, especially for you, Lena, because of the way that your senses are a little, shall we say, shifted in their focus. um, you both notice something about, again, second hour in, that, having your other companions pointing out the haze and the fungus and whatnot, and everyone at this point is keeping their eyes to it. There seems to be now almost like holes where it seems to be becoming slowly but surely more dispersed, actually. The signs of the fungus seeming to start to wane in its presence in this part of the woods.
I don't suppose maybe what was causing it may have been closer to the road behind us.
No, it would make sense. The shrine or whatever, to the cult of no name, that was poisoning the land in the other part of the Wildersong Woods, was just outside of Melancholy. So the effects probably would still reach out from the epicenter.
I am glad I wasn't subjected to having to deal with any of it. Obviously, what we saw it affecting bodies is one thing, but... And then she kind of like just looks at one of her hands, which is basically part tree. I have worry what it could have done to me in particular. So at least we're clearing it now, so whatever it is, hopefully we can leave behind.
Quick question above game. The bodies that was found in the last session, they did not have any of this fungi on them, did they?
As far as Humphrey and Branson told you, they did not mention any.
And you would also have noticed that, like, one of Branson's, like, gauntlets, was very red, so he obviously inspected one of the bodies pretty thoroughly.
It might have been... It may have been too soon since what happened to those individuals before the fungus started claiming them.
I suppose I'm just a little confused. Because a body's a body, so it should have wanted to take those, but it didn't? But yet this other one that wasn't even there in the first place is all of a sudden riddled with it and turning into it. I'm curious, you said that there was no water skins on the ones you found before, right?
No, there was. They were all slashed.
They were slashed. You don't suppose that this is coming from somewhere in the water somewhere? If water wasn't consumed by the ones that you found, but perhaps by the one that we just passed, it would have gotten inside of it. Essentially, eating it from the inside.
And can I get a clarification on one thing above game?
Sure.
We checked them. None of them had black cloaks, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to rule out the cult.
Yeah. No, that was a topic of discussion. Actually, when last session, you both had asked that very pointedly, and no, they seem to be just normal travelers.
In all honesty, I don't think we'll have much in the way of answers, only speculation. Skald, if it's what's to be believed, if something like this is happening, someone's probably studying it, or at least writing a poetic song or something about it. You'll see as he rolls his
I
eyes.
would hope so. I would certainly hope so. I'm just trying to get all my thoughts together. I mean, there's still not enough information, but if we do come across any more corpses in this wood, I'd like to look at them, provided it's safe.
Fair enough.
If if we make it to Skald, we could potentially ask around there. There could be individuals that might know more.
Well, we already had to stop by the Nature's Guild, so just another thing on the docket for there.
Bronson.
Hmm. Hmm.
These bodies left behind, these corpses. Does any of it ring familiar at all to you, given your quarry of who you hunt?
No signs of it. They were killed by weapons, and while some undead can use weapons, these ones looked rather normal. If I would have this, in the terms of understanding the language of brutality, this was the common kind that you would just find with bandits.
Well, is there anything we should look out for upon our travels? If we are going to Skald, I do not know if your quarry would prefer more urban environments or more forested ones.
Well, he's already changed up what little I know of him. At this point,
I see.
yes, because when I last saw him, he had an army of hundreds of undead at his beck and call. And so far, no one's mentioned anything like that here. Or even at the carnival.
With due respect, I do hope we do not run into that. But for now, I suppose nothing left to do but to keep moving. There's an interesting, if not somewhat foul stench that we have found, but it's not seem to impede our work here.
Yes, keep an eye out for any game.
With his either active or passive perception, would Humphrey have listened to any or most of what just transpired in conversation?
Unless
with-
anyone was
with Rasvan and-
I
whispering.
think we were being quiet.
Yeah. Remember, Branson has the subtlety of a fucking brick.
Yep. I just Humphrey will again like slide his head from the top of the wagon to whichever side of Estill is. Mr. Fasil, sorry for bothering you once more.
You're no bother, Humphrey.
Um, since the subject of spread of this infection has been brought up, would you mind checking our food? We did take some stock from there. I
Ah,
would love to imagine some of it is being carried there. I did not seem at first glance, but again, I am not well versed in this kind of matters.
it's an excellent point. Yes, I will go check. Where where did we stash all that food?
We just shoved it in one of the two wagons.
Okay. Can I pop in there real quick and examine? It was just vegetables, right?
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
believe
I'll go-
some like rice.
Yeah, I'll give everything a good look over.
I'm gonna say a nature check. No, I'm sorry, a survival check on this one.
Okay. 21.
You know what? It's funny. You go through every single piece of produce, every single, vegetable, fruit, what have you. Nothing is tarnished. In fact, everything is, various stages of ripe, sure, but you don't really even see a lot of like blemishes from like traveling on the road.
Well, I have good news. It's all clear. I'm going to make sure they're extra sealed though, just in case.
Alright.
Oh.
If we find any more food, just remind me. We won't touch it for a day. I have a magic that can purify food and water. That's how I got by on my own for a while.
That is rather handy to have on us, yes.
The only issue is that every time I prepare that spell, I have to lose the ability to cast something else. I'm stretched rather thin in what I can magically do. For instance, I had
I
to.
trust you. Go ahead.
For instance, I had to stop using a certain. I had to stop using a much more useful spell just so I could learn the way to magically silence.
Perhaps it would be in our best interest to try and coordinate. I am not familiar with the way magics work. To be frank, I've been having to relearn a lot of my own skills given my current condition. But it might be useful for us to just make sure to coordinate whenever you need to choose, if that is the process, which skills to refill.
Well, the one skill that I can't and unprepare at this point because it keeps becoming a prevailing issue is the ability to create and destroy water. And also, don't be afraid, I know nothing about magic. I just was given instinctual knowledge of what the power inside me can do.
In that regard, we're kind of alike right now.
Well, hey, if the voice...
4 years of training down the well.
Hey,
Gotta pick it back up.
You seem to be doing just fine already. That being said, if the voice ever speaks to me again properly, maybe I can ask a favor. Though in this regard, I think I've asked up in as many as I can get.
In the meantime, we get by with what we have.
Alright. Let's keep going. We have probably another 2 hours before we can actually rest and water the animal.
Sounds good. I believe we proceed on moving.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
So, at this point, in the next hour-ish, things kind of just continue to be steady. It is actually at this point, as things just sort of stabilize, nothing really new sort of happens, that, as I mentioned, you all start to notice that dark haze, that presence of fungus, just it's very subtle, but you do start to notice it more and more fading. By the time you get to that rest, as you mentioned, it's not gone, but it's certainly not as potent as it was before. And as Lychee ends up opening up another it's a keg of water, and begins to give water to the ox, he actually looks over to where Razvan, you're standing, and goes, "Hey, Razvan, mind coming over here and chatting with me for a bit?"
Not at all. What do you need?
And it's at this point he actually keeps his voice a little bit lower. Remind me, Humphrey, what is your passive?
Give me a second.
Passive perception.
Yep. 23.
Okay. Gosh darn it.
It's gonna get higher. It's gonna get higher.
I know. He keeps his voice down and goes, "So, I don't mean to pry. I got a couple questions, and I feel like you, out of all the people here, might have some pretty good insight. First off, who is this guy that Branson is talking about?"
Well, if you want to know more details about that, unfortunately for you, perhaps, Uh, maybe not so unfortunate. You would have to speak to Brunson himself, but
Sure.
what brought him initially out from where he was from was his quarry. Some form of undead, kind of villain, as it were, that did him a great injustice in the past. He seeks to find some form of justice and believes that perhaps this figure might be out here. We do not know for certain, but mm,
Right. So, between you and me, and the reason I asked, do you think that guy that he keeps mentioning, that figure, that person that kind of makes his blood boil, happens to be one of those? And then he, and for your information, Humphrey, is the sleight of hand
Mhm.
24. So
Oh,
you do not
nice.
see this. Opens up his mouth, like almost like curling his lip like he was going to bare his teeth, and then taps a finger to his canine.
the one that you're asking if he'll show. He'll kind of try to figure out a way to keep it relatively quiet. Rosvan will open his mouth, showing his elongated canines.
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking if, and he'll point towards that.
And he's nodding.
I do not know. It would make sense if
You actually would know. He told you that point blank when we met. Because you
that
stepped on a
it-
landmine.
Oh no, you're right. Oh, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Sorry, it has been a minute. You're absolutely right. From what Brunson has told me, I believe the creature that he is concerned about is, in fact,
Fascinating.
but that does not change anything, of course. At least I don't think so.
Oh, it does. Maybe not for you, but for me.
You have issues with this.
And he just kind of pulls his shirt down. And you had clocked this before on a previous insight check, but he just bluntly shows you the scar edge on his neck. You see 2 puncture wounds on the front, right
See.
where you know that where the artery should be, and it looks like whoever bit him just barely missed.
Rosvan's gonna look a little uncomfortable. I am sorry you have to endure such a pain.
It's a choice. That's why I wanted to have a conversation with you.
See,
Consider it trying to be on equal standing. Mano a mano, if you will.
Branson has been extremely kind to me, and I do not see any sort of issues with necessarily the undead, so long as they continue to not harm others around them. Branson is very much a man of code of honor and justice, as it were.
And what about you? He's kind of got this like. Actually, roll me an insight. Roll me an insight.
Natural 20, 24.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of got this look at his eye of like he's not aggressive, he's not malicious, but he's kind of like prodding you, kind of taunting you a little bit to kind of see how much he can push you, how much he can learn from you, and even more so, how tense is this about to get? Like it's a question, right? It's not a statement, it's not something he's aiming for, but he's trying to test it out of you. How much is this? How tense is this about to get between the two of you?
Well, there is a. I suppose it depends on the day. From days to day, I find myself wandering not only from place to place, but from mind to mind. Where I am now is not who I was yesterday, and not who I will be tomorrow. And I am happy with that.
And if I can just ask it straight, are you comfortable with this arrangement that we've got going on? And he's gonna, once again, sleight of hand. Ooh, Humphrey, you see this.
Oh.
He gestures to his cargo in the caravan. And he said, you do not hear this, Humphrey, but he says to you, Razvan, I keep those stakes on my person for a reason. Those stakes that I put outside my outpost are not just for decoration. And while I don't see you as a threat, you've never posed yourself as one, I have to ask if we're on good standing or not.
I see. An understandable precaution, I suppose. Especially given the situation that we find ourselves standing in. But yes, I believe we are on good standing. You need not worry about me. I do not need blood to persist. My father, as strange as I may be from him, he was a matter of the undead. My mother was not. Me and my brother, God's rest him, were born as we are now, as you see me now. Not quite undead, but not quite alive either. A Dampier, they call us back from where I am from.
Roll me another insight check.
11. He's feeling a bit conflicted about talking about that.
Aggressor wins. So, what you immediately get as as you mentioned Dampier, there's like a bit of intrigue in his eyes. But he also notices that discomfort and he says, I apologize. I didn't mean to make you bring up anything you didn't want to share. But
No, it is quite alright. Believe it or not, you were not the first to raise concerns, understandably so. What little I have met of vampires, they are rarely the kind that you should let your guard down around, but I don't know. Where I am from, my art precedes my nature. I am known as a poet and writer first, and Dampier second. But
that,
still, once people know and see me, they rarely treat me the same way. Since we have arrived in Gothicus, even when we were in the circus, or traveled to it anyways, it was the opposite. No one knew me as a writer. They only knew me as I saw myself, and yet none of them judged me for it. It was as though I was allowed to be me here. Something I have appreciated about this place. As strange as it may be, and as perilous as it may be, it's, in a weird way, somewhat nice for me, I will admit.
I'm going to lend you in on a little secret here. 2 things. I'm not one to reveal my hand, so I won't tell you a lot, but I'll tell you this. Depending on where we go in Skald, depending on who you talk to, you might get looks. Depending on who you align yourself with, you might get looks. However, because you mentioned you don't require blood, you have a better chance. You have a far better chance of keeping your head above water. Second thing I'm going to tell you is that there's someone that you should probably meet. Someone that I work with, which you might find pretty surprising. But it's a vampire you're trying to catch. Well, and he just kind of like gestures to himself. I'm one of the guys you're gonna need. But if you need a better looking and a better understanding of not only how to navigate, make sure that you aren't made out to be a monster, number one, and number two, if you need to know where there might be signs of any shall we say, undead activity in a city. There's a different guy. As they say, a guy I know. I know a guy. But I think out of anybody in this group, you are going to have the best chance. You are going to have the best chance at connecting with this guy. Because
Alright.
much like yourself, he's neither vampire nor is he human.
Does this person have a name?
Yep, he sure does. Last name's Rosenrot. Gets that one from his dad. His chosen name, Az, or Azrael. Picked it himself. Depending
Alright.
on what kind of dynamic you want to have with this man, you better pick which name you choose wisely.
Sorry,
I
taking
know
that notes real
your
quick.
I know your companion here points sleight of hand. Ooh, Humphrey, you see the sleight of hand as well. He then points to Branson. Your buddy here sometimes likes to use last names. Not always, but sometimes he does. Sometimes he likes to use full names. Points then to Humphrey. That one likes to use surnames and titles. I would recommend, as far as that one, again, still pointing at Humphrey, you might want to lay off the formalities if you're going to talk to this guy. Unless, of course, you want to make an enemy out of him. But you didn't hear that from me.
Very well. I will try to keep that in mind. Appreciate the guidance, Lichi. It is very much appreciated.
Figure it's the least I can do if, well, people that I am traveling with are interested in hunting vampires. The least I can do is offer an opportunity for success.
Branson saved my life on more than one occasion. I do not fancy myself a vampire hunter or a monster hunter of any kind. I do fear I owe it to Branson to try and help him on his quest.
This is true. The reason, again, like I said, that I tell you is because if you are open to talking to other constituents, other pieces of the puzzle, other branches in the network, I would not recommend he be the front-facing talker. He and I have a great rapport, don't get me wrong. But as is like you, and there's only so much that he can hide.
I believe I understand what you are saying. It's a shame Branson is quite a good talker. Honeyed tongue, sweet words, award-winning smile.
uh, he does laugh out loud, and all of you can hear him laughing.
But information such as this is rarely free. Do I owe you anything for this?
He thinks on it for a minute. He is considering it heavily. But then you see almost like a light bulb go off in his head. If you don't mind. As you're keeping low to the ground, looking for things that you are looking for, there's one thing I want you to get for me. Kicker is, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to talk to somebody who I, currently, as it stands, am not. Well, let's just say if I see this person, it's on site, just by nature of how it goes. If there's somebody in Az's family. Those are full blood. They have something of mine. I want it back. If you can't comply and you can't get it yourself, absolutely not a problem. But if you could get any information on it, that would be great.
Does okay? He'll kind of stroke his chin for a moment. May I ask what it is exactly you seek? It'd be difficult to get back what you want if I do not know what I am looking for.
Absolutely. See, I don't know if you knew this. Magic items and artifacts are not easy to come by in this world. When I killed with my bare hands the former vampire lord of the vampiric network on this plane, Shiloh Rosenrot, I single-handedly took a magic item, an artifact off of his person. And that was stolen from me by one of his kin.
See, this
The reason
artifact. Does it
Sorry?
look this artifact? Does it look like anything in particular?
Absolutely it does. See, let me grab it really quickly. Let me grab an image.
You have the artifact? Give it back.
No. I'm trying to get a good description of it without just dropping what it's called.
It
See,
is the artifact of describing.
it is the artifact of describing. See, what I'm specifically looking for, it's a specific weapon. It's a sickle. It has the very, very interesting qualities, magical qualities. Didn't have it long enough to understand exactly how it worked, but I can tell you one thing. On the flat of the blade, you will see an like an engraving of a crescent moon. But instead of the iconography that I'm sure you've seen around here with the liquid, the blood, instead it's covered in vines. And the vines go all the way up towards the edge, the very tip of the blade. And on the bottom of the hilt is a jewel, but it's been carved into the shape of a rose. Now, like I said, if you in your journey have no sense or no desire to actually get it for me, that's completely fine. Considering I just gave you a bunch of information, I don't expect you to do more than what I gave you. But if you can get any information on where its whereabouts are and who currently has it in their possession, and get that information back to me, I'd say that's a fair trade.
Let's see what we can do.
But like I said, it's one of those things where after spending enough time with you all, I felt like the best thing that I could do is tell you about it, and you can do what you want with that information. I will say one more thing. I can get you to Az's location, but actually getting to speak with Az is something you're gonna have to figure out on your own. And there's not much I can do to help you with that. But I'll tell you this.
Good.
Sorry?
You're good.
I'll tell you this. Specifically where he resides in Skald. I'm flipping through my notes. I gotta pull up my map. Give me just a second. I'm so sorry.
You're good?
I just realized this is our Han Solo getting ready to introduce us to our next Lando.
It's Landos all the way down.
I wonder if Ichi gets
we
captured the next
go.
time we'll see as they'll be wearing his clothes.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. So, when we're in Skald, you're gonna find Az hidden on the western part of the city near the river docks. There is a specific building that he works in and for. It's a front. It is, in fact, a general wares store. But again, it is a front. And the store that you are looking for, the title of the store is, and I am typing it out for you in your notes. It is called The Bottomless Bag.
That's a great name. All right, got it.
And I put it in the party notes just because eventually someone's going to forget.
But
That's me. I'm someone.
if you're wondering about passwords or nothing, again, you're gonna have to figure it out. I don't know too much. I wish I could. I actually wish I could, but Az is a very slippery figure, and every single time I've talked to Az, it's been him pursuing me. So I'd love to help you out there. There's nothing more I can give, but figure this at least could get you started.
It is appreciated. I am certain that we have enough proficiency to try and make contact with them. You've given us a great gift in trying to find the spoon.
Again.
That being said, I believe we have lingered for long enough, no?
Yep, I would say so, and it looks like the ox here is Mr. Ox here is ready to get back and going.
As am I, Mr. Ox.
And Lychee will move towards which I have in fact decided the name is just going to be Mr. Ox.
Yeah.
Is going to start getting Mr. Ox readjusted and set up for food, and then to be reharnessed. During this short rest, while that conversation was going on, was there anything any of the rest of you wanted to do?
Just first of all, one quick question.
Yes.
Besides the sleight of hands, as far as conversation goes, did Humphrey hear all of that?
He did not hear any of that. That was a. I'll just tell you straight. That was a 25 on stealth.
Perfect.
But you saw when I told you, you see this, you see that with the sleight of hand, with the gesturing. You saw the gestures.
Alright. Then, for his part, as we take our like moment to rest, Humphrey will just like walk a perimeter around just to make sure everything is safe.
Roll me a perception check.
Will do. Ah, yeah.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Here's the thing. The best part about that nat 20 is you don't hear and you don't see anything coming for any of you. coming towards the cart, moving in the. You might see like the signs of actual wildlife, actually genuinely. But beyond that, nothing threatening anyway. No signs of mists.
Nero, and he will just keep making watch during the moment of rest.
I'd say Branson would go up to Lena and just be like, Lena, I just want to, I wanted to see if you could answer me something.
She would turn to face you. Looks like she might have been like messing with like a knife and maybe like a piece of wood or something. She may have like just picked up on the way. And she's like, yes. What is it?
I only got to hunt in glimpses back in Melancholy. Just to understand things, do you use power or speed when you fight? And above gaming is asking, are you a strength fighter?
She would be. She would smile a little bit and say, I prefer the old idiom, measure twice, cut once, and it applies to combat besides just some woodworking and logging. I tend to, I guess, be more forceful with my attacks.
Fair. Then, have you ever learned how to break someone's neck with just one hand? It's very useful for when you get disarmed.
I can't say I have, but I suppose the rule may not necessarily apply to me when I can produce multiple hands out of one arm.
Fair. Alright, well, if you ever want a demonstration, just let me know.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a demonstration regardless. Of course, not to full effect, of course. She says jokingly.
Oh yeah, true. I'll say this conversation is happening near the end of when we're just about to pack up. Let's go. Razvan, can you come over here for a second?
Sure. What do you need?
I need help with a demonstration.
All right.
All right, and then
He will kind of kick off the dirt from his pants.
He'll then just say, now what most people would think is that you would go for this kind of grip, and he will just blatantly clamp a hand around your throat. He's not squeezing, but he is definitely like, it's like an iron bar around your throat.
Oh, I did not realize you had this form of kink, Branson.
Deadpan did not pick up on any of what you said, but
Okay, her eyes are completely covered, obviously with the runic bandages and everything, but you can clearly see the brow shape rise up a little bit. So when Razvan says that.
Again, not getting, he just still be looking. He wouldn't even be looking at Razvan in the eye. He's literally looking at where Lena's eyes would be. He just goes, most people would think is that this is the proper form. No, you do not have the torque or the wrist strength to properly do this from this position. At best, you can crush a larynx, which here would be useful because it would then rob them of their voice. Now this, as he takes his hand off and then puts a reverse grip under Razvan's neck. This is the proper way to do it. Because as you see, and he's just going to start turning your head against your will, but not forcefully, just enough to illustrate a point. This way you can use your palm against their jaw as a fulcrum to force against their neck and crack it. At which point then he will let go of Razvan's neck and just go, there. It might just save your life.
Thank you for teaching me that, Branson. And she like turns to Razvan and she's like, and thank you for suddenly being the demonstration.
Razvan will take his hat off and bow. And if you have any matters of request in regards to proficiencies in the bedroom, I'm certain that Branson can give you more details.
She like raises up one of her like taloned hands, just like cover her mouth, and she kind of like tries to stifle a laugh.
Branson's not going to dignify that. He now queued up on what you were saying, and he's just like, I'm not dignifying this. I'm going to the front of the cart.
with that, I think that's a great time for us to take a break. Unless there was anything else you two wanted to say.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, we're gonna I think that's a great place for us to take a break.
Yeah, Saris, that was the bit I said I had planned like over a month ago.
That was great. That was and thank you, Zan, for making that just 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
I was just putting up with he was putting down.
Actually, you know what? All three of you die of inspiration because
Let's
I had to
go.
mute myself because I was laughing so hard.
Oh. Well, then I will let.
So
Go
what
ahead.
you're saying is that Branson is on the top right of the chart.
Yeah.
No, he'd be at the bottom left. He's got too much on his plate. Also, Kaz, we're back, but we're on
I
break.
feel like I walked away right at the wrong time.
Oh no!
Don't worry, when you go back
Just
for
a casual
notes and stuff,
conversation.
you'll get a nice little cherry before the break.
I love that Branson is our edgy Gilgamesh.
Oh lord, don't you put that evil on me.
Also, be right back.
Yeah, I'll stick around till till the first person comes back, and then I will take my break. But yeah, chat, glad you guys are having fun. Ugh. But yeah, no, it feels so good to be back in a game after a slight drought on this channel. Whew.
Felt that.
Yeah. Ugh.
I still gotta catch the most recent Saved by the Spell episode. I missed that one.
Oh wow, you really haven't had a chance because that one's before Christmas. Whew.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I've not got a chance to go watch it.
Well, let's put it this way. Daedalus now officially owns two people. So yeah, that's something that needs to get unpacked next session. Also, we may have seen one of the Princes of Hell. Not Hell, no. Yeah, it'd be Prince of the Abyss.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no.
That's probably fine.
Listen, it's Saved by a Spell. I keep describing it as... It started out as fucking Animal House with magic. Then it became... the Hardy Boys track down the Blood Cult. And now it's fully devolved into Metal Gear Solid, Sons of Liberty. And there's no other way to quantify that. Also, at this point, our friends group is together so often that we might actually come off as a polycule.
Oops.
Which is not helped by
Is this a polycule or an acting troupe? I'll never tell.
Well, no. With our group, there's going to be two people actively now trying to lean in and pretend that it is a polycule just to fuck with you.
Nice.
And one of them's Bob. But yeah, another great aspect of Saved by the Spell that me and Bob just like to talk about is right now we're drawing party lines like Civil War just because we both have differing love languages.
Oh, Robot, I'm not certain what you missed, but I missed you. Welcome in.
Yeah.
I didn't go away.
Right, well, now that we got enough people, I'm going to go take my bathroom break real quick.
Alrighty. I'm back and I have snacks. Well, yeah, fun session so far.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also happy that I got some more annoying Citric with MS Paint fan art of Humphrey.
See, it's a weird position to be in. because a little part of my soul dies, but another one really appreciates it. So, so let me link that image in chat so people can see your masterpiece. It's certainly opening up the game from the from the previous one.
I don't know why, but just a beach episode of Humphrey. That's immediately what my mind went to.
I'm back.
We need to get the image of like the suntan lotion of the like the
Humphrey
girl
with
being accosted by the dog.
Humphrey with 10 lines.
See, Citric, you shot yourself in the foot by creating a character that is just highly memeable and very easy to draw.
He's mascot material. That's what he did. He nailed the
Exactly.
mascot material.
Humphrey, or as I like to call him, Whole Cake Island.
Okay.
Hey.
First of all, I know you're not that far in the manga, but that's good.
I am very close to there.
Oh, you've gotten
Doesn't
that close?
matter.
Good.
I
Oh my
like that.
God.
It's so funny that like you mentioned whole cake because like I was just hanging out with like Bree the other day. And for those that don't know, Bree voiced Nostort in the dub.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
They voice too.
Nostorte in the One Piece dub, the whole cake arc.
Which one is that? God, I don't remember. There's so many fucking
That's
characters
it's
in that arc.
it's
Yeah.
bootleg Captain Crunch.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Okay,
Linlin
okay,
is-
okay.
No, I actually did the math on this because I was going through Whole Cake again just for a rewatch. And thanks to the wiki, I've discovered that since her first child, Linlin has spent every year of her life since then until current day One Piece pregnant.
Yeah, she'd have to. She has like 60 children.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I
And
hate that I have a reaction for that. Give me a second.
The funniest part is multiples of those were multiple, like quintuplets and septuplets.
yeah,
Very cultured.
yep.
But now you can be introduced to my favorite meme of all time, Zan. That is, trying to remember it here. Oh yeah, it's how Trafalgar Law, the man who makes the greatest plans, has never had a plan ever actually succeed. He has failed upward out of every plan he's ever had.
Damn. He like me for real.
Yeah, the only person
Well,
who fails
be
upward
fair.
better is Bucky.
To be fair, Law decides to hinge a lot of his plans on Luffy, which is a recipe for disaster.
I have a tweet from around that time where basically, like, when they agree to go do stuff against Kaido, which Law actually doesn't have to do. Kaido was just his big weapon he was going to use against Dofi, but basically boils down to, you know what? I literally got this guy involved in a plan just so I could find an elaborate way to kill my abuser, and he actually beat the shit out of my abuser. Fuck it, we ball. 'Cause that's all.
No,
that's
he
all Dressrosa
just-
was. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he's just around for the ride at that point, because like there's genuinely no reason for him to stay after Doflamingo goes down. But like, yeah, I don't know.
For the fans, I know I've told, I think, Vaughn about this series, but like, if you want some fun, like, stuff to like listen to, I forget their name on YouTube, but they have a little mini series about One Piece that's called The Adventures of Captain Crackhead, and
Okay.
it is One Piece from the point of view of the villains.
Oh, good.
That is actually
It is-
super apt.
I mean, for the point
The
of view of
Funniest thing in the
any
world.
of anyone outside of the Straw Hats, you have to remember, like, all before they split in Savoldi, it's like what 3 to 6 months.
No, it's actually only been 3 months. Someone did it full time
Right.
on every event in One Piece, and then broke down the entirety of pre-time skip and post-time skip.
The thing is that pre-time skip is just 3 months, and they changed the entire pirate world.
Oh yeah.
You could say they made waves.
Hey.
1,000 years impel down.
Oh!
But yeah, no, it's also hilarious that they do that usually over the span of 1 to 2 days. Well, the Wano is the longest arc in that it is literally taking place over several weeks.
I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
Worries.
1,000.
Careful about that joke. It's an antique.
Also, I will give you one bit of bad news, Zan. So far, because I haven't finished rewatching all of Wano. After Whole Cake is where you get the last good One Piece fight because they do a lot of very beautiful and elaborately done animation that should be lauded for the leaps and bounds it's going. But a lot of it becomes very hard to track what anything's happening because they put 17 layers of effects on it.
That's fine.
It's not as bad as anything they've been doing with Dragon Ball in Super, where you cannot even see the characters behind the weird fucking auras. It's like, why are you doing this?
Definitely better than Dragon Ball. I will say that at the end of Onigashima, at least Zoro versus King was done really well. It's just very, very short.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of build-up, and, like, timing-wise, the fight is about as long as it should be, but with how much they draw everything else out, it feels like it's so short in the grand scheme of that arc.
Yeah.
I will always recommend One Piece, which is the fan edit that just trims the show's like filler and just padding out
and all
of
the
way.
flashbacks and
Yeah.
stuff that you've seen before, so you don't need to see it again, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, like, all of Wano and Onigashima. It did not need to be 200 episodes long, okay?
Well, to be fair, they pushed Wano faster than they should have in terms of getting to those episodes on those dates. Oh, because they were so close to almost being current. That's why they scheduled a fixed start date for Egghead.
Yeah, that was weird because One Piece, you just watch it like it's an ongoing thing, like never really like have those previews. And with Egghead Island, it felt like a regular anime. It's like, we're announcing the new season. When have we done that?
Oh yeah. Well, it's also funny because like recently someone pointed this out. Over the whole 25 years of One Piece running, the last hiatus that we got between chapters was the longest in history, and it was just 3 chapters in 3 months.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome
Welcome
back.
back.
All right, I think everyone's back.
We are.
Alrighty then. Should I take us over to the other screen?
Yes, you should. Unless anyone, speak now or forever hold your peace.
And I had enough for today. Good session. Bye.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
I got a good piece.
was it a one piece?
One piece.
And the One Piece is real.
Da, 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 da. All right. let's get going. So, we reach the tail end of our break, and I do want to just triple check. Is there anything anyone else wants to do on the during the short rest before we resume?
I'll just say something that was mechanically done. I'll re-click it once I pull my sheet back up. I'm never not going to do this if I cast a spell before a short rest.
Oh yeah, recover slot.
Yeah, because I will then recover that channel divinity by the end of the short rest. So, yeah.
I would have something I would like to do. I would like to actually go and Lena would go and seek out Razvan.
All right.
And she would kind of wander over and kind of like plant like the halberd like in the ground, and say, Razvan, do you have a few minutes?
You'll see Razvan kind of just sitting next to a pile of grass, his kind of hat sitting next to him. He's kind of leaning back while sitting on the ground, just humming to himself. Yes. He'll stand up and dust some of the dirt off of him before putting his hat back on. How can I help you, Lena?
I suppose I didn't get a chance to talk to you earlier back in Melancholy. But I did want to, like, reach out to you and discuss about, the dream, I suppose. If you had time.
Of course. Fortunately, on the road, seems like we have time in abundance.
Alright, and she would, like, make herself a little, like, more comfortable and, like, kind of relax. Try to start recalling what she remembered seeing. And she would say, it wasn't a dream that I had seen anything like before, and it definitely stood out to me. The bigger concern is mostly what exactly it involved and how some of the group's interests and pursuits are starting to line up. So I figured I would talk with you about it and then maybe discuss it with the group at a future date.
Of course. Always willing to listen, friend.
She gives a small little smile. Well, when you say friend, like maybe something touched her a little bit. And she would say, I saw a figure while I was sleeping. And I'm sure you saw when I woke up. I was rubbing my wrists. They looked like they had like marks on them. Like that's where I was like bound to a chair in the dream. I'm certain I might have been able to break out of them. Not that it would really help in a dream, mind you.
You
But
did not have these markings before the dream.
no, I did not.
Huh. That is deeply curious and concerning.
It was an individual that I couldn't quite see fully. But the robe stylings that they were wearing felt ominously familiar. That I saw. As I saw their arms mostly kind of like steepled on a table. They had interest in me and the group as a whole, and they were looking for something. They wanted information. Specifically about... Now, they spoke cryptically, of course, but they said I would know their name.
Interesting. You believe you were visited in this dream, and that this social exchange, as it were, was done by... Do you know who?
I don't, but the trappings of the individual in their robes made me feel like it could be cult-related.
I see.
They were black robish sleeves, and most of the rest of them were shrouded in darkness or in a similar, like, cloak. It was difficult to tell. It was very dark.
Well, first off, I am sorry that you had to deal with that. I was someone who was recently restrained against their full awareness and knowledge. It is not always a welcomed experience, and I am sorry that it caused you pain.
She, she laughs. She has a good like small belly laugh. I guess the best way to put it. That helps. Like clearly, she's under some stress bringing this up, but that definitely seemed to help. Her face like softened some. And he was rather cordial and was very like upfront about what he was looking for. Like I didn't sense anything immediately sinister, though there was obviously the whole thing about the dream itself was very concerning. But there's only the scantest handful of people that wouldn't outright say what they were looking for, especially in such a private environment as a dream. This has me concerned that this could overlap with either the individual involved with Branson or the individual I told you not to speak their name aloud.
Mm.
And they want me to find them. They want
See.
me and or us, as they apparently knew I was with a traveling party now, to find and lure out this individual.
Do you believe they are en route or within the walls of Skald?
It felt like they knew where we were heading. I think so. Or at least maybe that's where we can get some kind of lead on it. If we were to follow this through. I'm not sure if this is something that can be declined. I know I attempted to pry who they were and the thoughts of, like, why should I do this? And they offered protection in trade. What kind of protection, they refused to elaborate.
Oh, yeah. From what I have encountered, at least thus far here in Gardens, Branson is after the quarry of a great undead foe. Humphrey is trying to find a way home and answers as to why they are in the form that they are currently in. Vestiel I only met just a few days ago. Do not know their dealings yet, but as someone here who is obsessed with finding more about this place, with understanding how it works and seeing more of this world, I can say that you will have my blade at your side, Lena, if you need help on this endeavor.
I thank you, Razvan. Admittedly, while other people have their purposes for being here, or in most of y'all's cases, returning home, I guess my own pursuits is just finding a purpose in and of itself, interestingly enough.
Then we are kin, Lena. In truth, it is difficult to find purpose when the world wants you to fit in one box or another, and you want nothing more than to be defineless without these boxes. Walk around and explore and see what lies beyond the confines of what others would dare you to do. It's
That is,
lonely sometimes, I'm certain, being in your position, but at the very least we now travel a road together rather than alone.
oh, most certainly. That was the original reason why I pursued the cult. So this land often forces people into platitudes based on upbringing and connections. I was but a simple logger. My parents always thought I had the voice to attempt being a bard or a songstress. I never really bit onto it, nor could I afford something as illustrious as to go to a bard college. So I mostly resigned myself to my job and enjoying small pleasures such as woodworking. The cult, of course, was almost like a second chance at something, but didn't turn out to be the way I wanted, so I'm somewhat back at square one.
Well, I am sorry that you were not able to find a place within a Bardic college, if that is in fact what you wanted. But I suppose Garticus's loss is our gain. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance and to make your company, and I am not certain that if things did not play out the way they did for you, that we would have met, at least not in the way that we have now.
That is true. Could have found
May
myself
I
in a completely different location and doing who knows what.
may I ask a personal question? And I would understand if you would prefer not to go into details.
Certainly. What is it?
Your sight. Has it always been this way?
No, she considers for a second and she says, "No. Um, the ritual that did what it did to me also, besides putting the runic bandings on parts of my body, and it also took the sight from me. I don't remember what exactly happened. It was I believe I was drugged for most of it, but all I know is the bandages, and she like raised her hands, like kind of like rubs the spots where her eyes are. You can see as she rubs, there is like there's something in there that obviously it's like maybe the eyes are still there or something. They're not like hollow sockets or anything. Um, but she says the bandages won't come off. After it happened and I escaped, I've tried to remove them. What amount of headway I make, they just reappear. With the exception of, and she like that little tassel that she ripped off that one time and handed to somebody for the eerie token. It appears to have regenerated, except for this piece. I can remove this one, but otherwise, I've tried blades. I've tried. I accidentally hurt myself attempting to remove some of them before right at first, but they refused to go.
I see. Well, I would imagine it's one of the reasons you mean to track down this cult, to uncurse whatever this burden is upon you.
Yes, or at the very least, find a way to better understand it. I'm not sure
Well,
which.
How do you perceive sight, if I may ask?
It's almost as if you could close your eyes and imagine the world immediately around you. It's not perfect. You can tell a tree is right there and points to the tree that you were leaning against. You can vaguely imagine the colors it is. You can tell you're walking on ground, but you're not sure what kind of ground. Almost as if you're remembering what certain various different dirt patches you've seen before are there. And it goes out, I would say, about 10 feet or so. I'm able to somehow perceive this. I think it has something to do with the bandages that are granting some sort of sight to me. Outside of that, I unfortunately personally see nothing on average. There are ways around it, of course. If I hand the bandage piece to somebody, I'm able to see through them for short periods of time.
Oh,
Likewise, to Vern, I can see through his eyes, if need be, though I usually become desensitized to my own location.
I appreciate you explaining this to me. If there's anything I need to do or that you would like assistance with, please do not hesitate to ask. If you need
Funny,
descriptions of everyone that is around you or what something might look like in a moment, I would not mind assisting in that either.
that certainly could be helpful in the future, I believe. I do know you have certainly done a large amount of help already. Funny enough, just walking around, when we started this journey, I was studying your gait, your footsteps, and how you typically walk. I've tried to do this for each individual, although some are a little harder to hear than others. And she kind of like turns and looks to the top of the caravan, and you can get an idea.
Well, I can describe, at least certainly why that might be. I am approximately about 18 hands in height and 13 stone in weight, given how much I may have eaten or drinking the previous day. And I try to keep on a relative light foot, of course, but even then, some of the equipment we carry is a bit heavy. But I am also red of eye with dark hair swept back, few freckles and makeup I tend to forget I'm wearing. uh, and unfortunately, definitely pale skin. As for the rest of our companions, I would imagine you hear Branson and his somewhat scaled like visage, quite tall, even taller than me if I'm actually not standing up straight. But he tends to weigh and step a lot heavier, wears equipment and makes his presence more known. As for Humphrey, quite small and does not wear boots or any form of foot protection, so I would imagine the noise of our friendly jelly-like creature of a friend might be a bit difficult to get an idea as to how they walk and stand.
I've been parsing where he stands based on, it sounds like a cape flutter or something.
Yes.
If I hear just that, I typically know it's him.
You can also make note that where Humphrey is by listening for the very formal greetings and apologies. Seem to apologize for nearly everything that happens. They are quite sweet. As for Hephaestion, another imposingly tall individual, but I don't know much about them yet, admittedly.
I do hear the sound with them. I do hear the sound of unusual types of fabrics that I am not used to hearing. I've been usually piecing that together.
Indeed. I am both a stranger to these lands as well as a stranger to me. But hopefully that will change in time. And, of course, we have Lichi Dodo, our caravan master. They walk with the sort of confidence and stride of knowing where they are while always maintaining a level of caution. They give the bluster of someone who is not worried but is ready.
Among the trading side of my family, I've heard many a story about him. He being one of the most accomplished people that travel some of these roads.
They certainly give off that presence. And lastly, but certainly not least, Mr. Ox. Ever the tired and ancient ox, but they walk with some world-weary tread, I would imagine. No, in truth, I do not know much about oxes outside of the lovely one we travel with.
Well-mannered, I will say that.
Most of my long-winded travel before arriving to the lands of Garthicus was actually overseas rather than overland. So admittedly, I'm somewhat out of my element here, but you seem to be very well versed in not only these lands, but how to travel them. Your familiar? Are they also from this land?
Did you mean Lychee with that reference?
No, you're familiar. You're owl.
If I might speak on their behalf, I don't know. They appeared after I escaped. I don't know if it's tied to the ritual somehow or not, but there's some sort of magical connection there. And I can't put my finger on it. They always seem to show that they care about me. At first, I was off-put by their constant presence, but I have come to enjoy their company.
Very well. I appreciate you sharing your insight into your world. And again, if there's any way I can help, I am more than happy to do so. As for your quest to find this cult, potentially the one with no name, I am also more than happy and honored to throw my sword in against whatever battles or challenges may lie ahead for you. And I'm certain the others will come along in time as well.
Absolutely. I will be happy to speak with others on this ordeal, but it might be safer to not weigh more things on their minds while trying to avoid the dangers out here.
Fair enough. A wise precaution. Perhaps we get to Skald, find a nice tavern, and maybe a bit of wine, and discuss things in further then with the rest.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't mind hearing a story or three about where you're from once we get there.
Oh, me? There's very little to tell. But perhaps that will change in time.
Well, I will leave you to rest in that case. Thank you so much for hearing me out.
Of course.
And she would give, she doesn't necessarily have a dress, but she uses like her cloak to do like little like half curtsy. And she will return to her spot near the caravan.
Razan will take off his hat and bow before kind of kicking out an apple from his pouch, bouncing it kind of off of his arm, and going over to Mr. Ox to feed him an apple.
And as we come to the end of the break, is there one last call? Is there anything else anyone would like to do before the end of the watch / short rest?
Not immediately.
I'm good.
Okay. So, you continue to walk down the path. As you do, the lot of you collectively, and you don't need a perception check to notice this, your passives are all fine. As you move into the next hour, and the next hour, and the next hour of walking, you both see, or you all see, that sign of fungus really starts to die down and to dissipate. And by the time all of you collectively reach another 4 hours of walking, you find yourselves completely devoid of any sign of fungal matter. The trees do not seem corrupt, nor do they move towards you, at least for now. And more signs of life continue to thwart the place. Before I move into the evening, is there anything else anyone wants to do before the caravan actually stops for the night?
We will remain on the lookout.
Okay.
On that note, do I have to roll acrobatics and stealth again?
Acrobatics, no. Stealth, yes.
Will do. Oh, yeah. That's a 13. Also, I believe Bardic Inspiration went away a long time ago, right?
It's a thing.
No, I give it back.
I was gonna say you can use it
Uno
if you
skip.
want.
I haven't used any others, so I might as well just keep giving them to you.
Yeah, it's a D4 or a D6?
At this level, it is a D6.
Heck yeah. Yeah. And even 14 on both sides then.
An even 14.
Look, not every bardic inspiration is going to be killer. Sorry.
Look, it's an improvement. I'll take it anyway.
I was about to say, at least it's not one of the ones that you can use on when you're being attacked.
Some of my albums have filler. I'm sorry.
They can all be bangers.
Yeah, it was from the B-side.
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
But yeah.
Anybody else want to do anything?
Just for frame of reference, how many days away are we from Skald at this point?
Believe you still have 6 days.
Days, okay.
Above game, is there anything anyone wanted me to identify? I forget. I remember taking that spell.
Well, you have it. We have a lot of stuff we want you to, but you don't have the material component.
I need a pearl. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff. We have like the weird potion. We have a.
We have the literal amulet of Ravenkind.
We have the orb.
We need to go find an ocean and just start oyster fishing.
Yeah, like we even tried to be like, Leechy, can you hook us up? If so, we'll have another day without pay.
And Leechy said that he would try his best.
But he couldn't do that till Skald.
Yes, because he doesn't have one on his person.
We need a full pearl necklace.
Which
Very well. Sorry, that was just my above game question.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
Which don't get me wrong. You might need a full pearl necklace, but someone also might be wearing a full pearl necklace at some point. You never know.
Or be
You
gonna
never
go
know.
crash a ball.
Martha Wayne
I
got
mean-
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
You ever dance
The
with
reason
the
I
undead in the pale
asked-
moonlight?
good. The reason I asked is because as you all begin to pack up for camping yet another night, there is a moment where Leechy kind of makes a look at you, Razvan, and then makes a look at Lena, kind of nods, and then slips out into the woods.
Oh. Razvan is...
Tinker! Sorry.
Razvan's not... I guess he'll try to insight.
Sure.
Oh.
No, no.
Razvan's lamenting the fact that he must start another day without any rosé, as he is no longer has any.
So no, actually, you know what's funny? I'm so sorry.
Raven tries to incite Lychee, and all he can do is look down
Hold
as he
on,
walks away.
hold on, because for the second time, aggressor wins.
Oh,
Oh shit!
Oh,
Because I just rolled a natural 1.
Let's go.
He's going to go, it looks like he's going to go and fetch something? Possibly, probably? In the
All
woods.
Razvan's going to assume he's either watering the plants, as it were, or getting something specific, and is fine. So Razvan won't say anything. We'll just continue to relax in leisure, fondling
Sure.
moonbeams as they funnel down from the sky.
I will say for the rest of the party, he was not being stealthy about it. He just
Yeah,
did it. So, like, for passive perception, if anyone else is like, what?
yeah, Humphrey.
Yeah, no.
Humphrey from the top of the cart again. Like, this is our employer.
Yep.
So Humphrey just watch him go away. Mr. Lychee, it's everything all right?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic, even.
Do
And he just
you-
continues walking.
Do you need any assistance? You hired us as protection, and you are going alone into the woods.
I mean, if you want to come, that's fine. He's still walking.
Humphrey hesitates for a moment, and then unhooks himself from the top of the wagon and starts picking up the pace behind Lychee.
Sure.
He looks at the group. I guess the caravan is up to you. The wagon is up to you.
Try not to let them
These
get
are
too-
bodyguard. These are bodyguard instincts kicking in. It's like nope, don't get there.
Yeah, they'd be like, Try not to get too far out of running distance, if you can help it.
Humphrey tips his hat and keeps moving.
You
Lena
watch.
just seems.
You go.
Lena just like seems very curious that they just like about faced and just started walking up.
Yep.
But otherwise she'll remain near the caravan, but she's keeping like like trained senses in the direction he's going.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. And anyone else who wants to keep watch, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
We.
I almost did a
Definitely
deception
gonna
check
roll
for
one
some
as
reason.
well. It'll be 13.
12.
That's absolutely hilarious.
We are insanely grouped up. 10, 11, 11, 12, 13.
Well, technically I rolled an 11.
Still 10,
But
11, 11,
for
12.
now,
That's
yeah. God, when we are in sync, we are in sync.
So, first I will address the elephant in the room, and then I will say all of you perceive this to the best of your ability, because again, he's not being stealthy. So while you're keeping watch, if you do happen to glance in the direction of both Humphrey and Lychee, you do see this happen. Humphrey, you reach a part where you're probably like a good couple, I say probably a solid, like, oh, I don't know, 50 feet into the tree line, in the thick of it. And he starts looking around the forest floor.
Did you see something around here, Mr. Litchi? By
Well-
the way, the rapier is out. Like, this behavior is unusual.
God, amazing. Well, I mean, it's not that I found something specifically. It's that I'm looking for something specifically. And you watch as he before you get a chance to speak, reaches down and pulls out like a solid like tree branch. It's probably a good 3 inches diameter at the thickest part of the branch, and he takes it, and like this is a long thing. This is like a solid like quarterstaff size branch, and he breaks it over his knee. Oh yeah, he breaks it just a clean snap over his knee, and proceeds to tuck both of them underneath his armpit.
Are we running short on wood for the fire?
You see him pause. Do you think we are?
Don't know. I just trying to figure out why we are here.
To grab branches.
I see. Humphrey looks around for branches.
Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Will do.
Yeah.
That's an 18.
Roll me a d4.
Hiya. That's a 3.
You find 3 long branches.
Again, still holding the rapier in one hand.
Yep.
He goes to grab the other, to pick up the branches.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny because since he's a lot more used to moving in, like, his body in unorthodox way, he kind of like grabs one, retracts in like a wave, and as the branch is getting grabbed, the next arm pops from the same side, grabs another, and again like a rolling motion until he has 3 under his like makeshift arm. Will this do?
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. And you see now, by this point, he has like a solid bundle under his non-dominant arm. He's got another one in his hand, and he just starts walking back to the caravan.
Uh-huh. He just looks around the forest like, what? And then starts following Lychee back to the camp.
And meanwhile, four of you keeping watch. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Don't really notice any real evidence of animal behavior. I mean, this happens for like a solid 5 or 10 minutes before they come back, so it's not super long. So nothing really truly eventful happens, but the four of you do notice that the two of them come back, and this time they brought really large sticks.
To be fair, 2 of us have dark vision or superior dark vision, so we could just see all of this happening.
Correct. And again, he's not stealthy.
Yeah.
He's not stealthing. He's doing it out in the open. And as you both return, he just kind of goes, "Thanks for watching the cart," and he goes over to a spot on the ground, and in the area of which you all are setting up to camp. He pulls out what looks to be a whittling knife, and he starts carving.
Humphrey walks by and, like, besides Lychee, drops the sticks he has with the rest of the bundle and just walks back to the group, completely puzzled. I looks at everyone else. Sticks. We have
No.
sticks now.
No, this makes sense for him. Don't question it. It's not our job.
I mean, you are correct, but I feel that is an unnecessary risk for sticks.
Brandon's just gonna give like a huff and just be like, "It's not anything that will harm us, and he did it quickly, and you were with him. It's fine."
All right then.
Are we going to stick to the same watch order as usual?
It's worked for us so far. Unless any of you have any objection.
Nope, I'm alright with it.
Would not like to interrupt your beauty sleep, Mr. Rasman, but
It is quite all right. If I gain any more beauty, there might not be any left of the rest of you.
Ha!
Lychee
That's in
just-
character.
but I intend to take the first one in the morning, which means the last one in total.
Alright, that's fine then. Eat your fill and get your rest. Bransel says he'll just take like a small like travel plate of like whatever food that they cooked up for food and just head to the front of the caravan to where he'll
Really?
start his watch.
Does anyone want to cook anything?
If no one offers, Humphrey might try his hand at that.
Because you actually have more than just, traveling rations now.
Yeah,
We
do
picked up
we have
the
a fire
food.
set up?
Do you?
If you have wood, Branson will literally just go, "I can instantly light the fire if need be. I just need the materials."
Well,
You get
somebody
the-
did just go recover a lot of sticks.
Those are technically his
Yes.
sticks.
That's true.
Actually, do any of you have any kitchen experience? As far as I go, I've helped in the kitchen with cutting vegetables and just minor errands, but I wouldn't call myself a chef.
At most, I washed, chopped vegetables and meat, or ladled out stew. That's basically my entire kitchen experience.
Well, when you live by yourself in the middle of nowhere, you do tend to get a little bored with the average vegetable medley, so I've experimented a little.
I mean, I was on the lookout for game the entire time, and unfortunately I saw nothing.
No, but we do have produce.
Again,
We
the
do have-
Wano disgust face.
But yeah, Mr. Festival, if you need any help with that, I'd be more than glad to assist you.
Sure. I'll make something even Bronson would eat.
Branson just gives a tired look of remembering someone chiding him to eat what he is given.
Well,
So-
how about this? If you don't like it, I'll give you a ration.
It's fine. I still have some rations. I was planning to mix them with whatever anyone made. He's just at that point. He's just gonna huff. Listen, I need a lot of protein in my diet. And gestures at himself.
Branson just walking around with a tub of whey.
I mean, if he knew about protein powder, he would definitely do this. This man is trying to build a machine to kill.
So, first things first, if you're gonna build a fire, Festial and Humphrey, I'm gonna need a survival check from y'all. Do it with advantage. Whoever is gonna do it, I'll have one of you two roll. Do it with advantage because you're helping each other.
Okay.
Humphrey's assisting on Festival, so
Okay.
I
want
give
me
you
to
the
roll?
others.
Alrighty.
Very nice.
18.
Roll me a d6.
D.
Oh.
A 1.
This still works. You find a giant stump, like piece of a trunk of a tree fallen.
All right. So I guess we haul that back over closer to camp.
Yep. And I'm gonna say with the two of you, I'm not gonna have you roll it. You just get it there eventually. It's a big, pretty hefty, hefty piece of trunk. So you have no doubt in your mind that this will last you a while. And depending on how you want to do it, you could realistically put it out and then put it in your luggage and carry it with you on the caravan and use it again later.
Amazing.
The ever-living
c-
stick.
It's probably close to at least 60 pounds of stump.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So Ophestial is a noodle.
I repeat,
I don't
it
know if
takes
he'd
both of
have
you.
the upper body strength to lift.
I figured what was going to happen was going to be, Branson, come pick this up. Okay.
Yeah.
That also
Bronson, help.
Branson comes over, turns it on his side, just huddles it under one arm. Does not seem to be bothered.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You are a godsend, Mr. Branson.
Can you at least grab some rocks to make as a fire pit?
Sure.
Thank you.
I will not require you to roll. There, you could find rocks. You could find rocks.
They're rocks.
Carrying over that 18. Yeah, you can find it. Next, do any of you have cooking utensils on your person?
I'll also say you'll just
No.
watch Branson envelop this thing in lightning as thaumaturgy. I make a campfire.
Amazing.
Chew. Let's see. I do not.
I do.
Oh,
Okay.
Your inventory might have them because we all get like a starting pack, being an explorer's pack, a dungeoneer's pack. Some of those do have cooking utensils.
Well, they have a mess kit, which is sort of like plate and basic, like
Yeah.
fork and spoon and things like that.
cooking actually is a
but-
proficiency-based thing that you need.
Hmm.
Fair enough.
Lena's
have
not
time.
proficient in cook's utensils, but she does have a set on her.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So, using Lena's set, you are able to set yourself up. Now comes the fun part. I will need a cooking utensils check. And with help, because whoever does it, because there's at least two of you who are helping each other, I will allow it with advantage.
Cast your
For
chef.
cooking utensils if we don't have.
It would just
I don't
be
have one to click on.
Basically a D20. With whichever.
D20.
Yes,
Yeah, with
it's a
which,
D20, and then if you have the proficiency, you would add the proficiency.
I don't, so it'll just be a straight roll.
Also, I believe
Yep.
the tool proficiencies have like a variable stat, like depending on
Correct.
situation.
Yeah.
So which?
This is. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I am accounting for that, at least on my end. I
It was-
will.
It was
Sorry.
with advantage.
Yes, I was about to say that it is
Yeah.
with advantage,
Okay.
so feel free to
Get
reroll.
another one.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
God, I really biff it when I need to.
So I'll say this. I will say this. It's not burnt. Which is the most important thing. But as you all dish up some of the rice and some of the, I'm assuming probably stewed vegetables, it's not great. It's not the best food in the world, but like A for effort. It's edible. You're like 99.9% sure you won't get food poisoning.
Ophestiel will take one bite of his concoction and immediately go pout in a corner, ashamed.
Humphrey just pat you on the shoulder. It's alright. It's the ingredients, I'm sure. It's just you're not used to work with this.
You
And,
just see Branson shoveling the rice and mixing, like, just using like the stew as more of a sauce that he's just like dipping bits of dried meat into.
At least the dried meat gives it flavor.
I'm also rolling him under the like carnivore rule of he has much
Oh,
weaker
100%.
taste buds, so luckily he's less
100%.
affected by this. So he would actually.
But like, dried meat typically has at least a little bit of salt content in it, so there
Yeah.
it's not just.
It's seasoned.
What I'm saying is basically because of that he would actually then finish eating enough of his fill, which would probably at least have him getting like half of a seconds, and then just before he goes to his spot where he's going to keep his watch, just go, "Thank you for the meal."
Listen, if we had access to spices, it would have been better. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure you would do wonders if we had butter.
Either way, he'll clean up his like mess supplies, and then just go to the spot where he's going to slop squat on the seat of the wagon.
Absolutely. I take it. You all start getting ready to rest for the night. Is there anything anyone wants to do as they're getting ready for sleep?
Humphrey will go fetch the bucket.
No, Branson would have already put it in the exact same. Oh, what?
As you go to catch the bucket, you notice that the bucket is sitting next to a giant pile of wood shavings. And as you look to your side, 3 freshly carved steaks are laying beside the bucket.
Do I see Lychee anywhere?
He's still carving. He has eaten, by the way. He did take a break to eat, but he's still carving.
I see you are hard at work, Mr. Lychee.
Of course. Wood's finally fresh and isn't contaminated with whatever that junk was out there. Might as well make the most of it.
I'm a game question. Does Humphrey have any notions about vampires?
Roll me. Well, okay. Yeah, I would say roll me a history check.
Alrighty. Because one thing is the place Humphrey comes from, its neighbor with a... Oh, no, that's a 1. And it doesn't matter. Yeah. No, it's perfectly fine. That's a 1, by the way.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're not really sure why he's doing this.
Me?
It just strikes you as odd.
May I inquire why this? You did take a detour on a dangerous route just for sticks to carve these stakes. And I mean no offense by these questions, just I am confused.
He clearly contemplating how he's going to respond to you for a moment as he lowers his knife. Like, he doesn't drop it, he doesn't drop anything, but he stops for a minute, looks at you and goes, "What do you know about monsters, boy?"
Humphrey says for a minute, remembers pretty much all the past week. Not enough, apparently.
Certain types of monsters have certain types of weaknesses. And if you aren't prepared to handle those monsters, well, let's just say you take absolute risk if you plan on encountering them, or if they get you by surprise. I am making sure that when we go to where we're going, that we aren't taken by surprise.
I see the logic. Problem is, I might be the only one, but being on the same page about those weaknesses, those strategies, does benefit the rest of us, does benefit us as a group.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would a passive perception of 14 hear any of this?
Oh, 100%.
You'd hear Branson speak up at that point. Humphrey, do you know why my axe is shaped the way it is? It's a very specific type of axe. It is because...
Can't.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It is because if I'm going to kill my nemesis, I must do two things. I must pierce the heart and remove the head. He's preparing for the first half.
So the stakes would be for step 1.
Indeed. Also, just at this point, say to Lychee, you should also wear higher colored shirts.
Where we are, I don't need one. Don't worry, kid. I have what I need in the back of that cart. And he points to the cart that he was staying in, that he has been staying in during rests.
Very well.
Now, Mr. Humphrey. And he sort of just like readjusts how he's sitting, straightens his back up a little bit, sets down the half carved steak, tucks his knife away. Are there any other questions that I can answer for you at this moment in time?
As a matter of fact, I don't think I have enough time in the day to ask all I want about this place. But if I had to narrow it down to essentials... What do people here live for?
What do people... I'm sorry?
It's an odd one, but so far, everything we've found... Like, I could ask about everything that has brought us into peril. All the monsters, all the diseases, all the mist, but just what vexes me the most is that the people we found, like, what are they living for here? Just misery. There must be a reason to wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Just
for some people.
What few time we spent on melancholy, the city looked drained of just life. Most people walk with their head down. The ones which seemed alive at all. Husks of people. I've not seen that before, and I hate to admit that out of everything we've encountered, the fact that people can live like that is unsettling. The most off-putting thing so far.
I mean, Humphrey, everyone lives for a different reason. Some people get up in the morning because they are seeking greatness. They want fame. They are seeking glory, recognition, reputation. Some people wake up in the morning and they choose violence. They have a profound sense of bloodlust. Lord knows why they want to do what they do. Some people have a profound sense of wanderlust, and they want to see the world. They want to travel. Some people are just content living in the comfort of their own home. It really depends on the person. Now, if you're asking why I get up every morning, well, he just kind of winks at you.
Hmm?
That one you'll have to figure out on your own.
I see.
And some people are like you. They want out. Because they believe, as crazy as it sounds, they believe there is an out. Till I met you all, I didn't think ever such a thing had existed. But now, proceeds to, like, look you up and down, looks over at Branson, eyes him up and down. Now I'm starting to think that might actually be real.
He looks down for a moment and fiddles with the rose applique on his tiny cape. No, that's the thing with finding an out. You have to believe there is one even if you don't know it. That's how you make it.
And some of us, what is an out?
If there's one thing I can also advise against, consider the cost of what some people just had to get in. And he thumbs to himself and then thumbs to Humphrey. And be prepared to pay it when you want it.
Humphrey looks at you. Trust me. I am willing to pay most prices.
I mean, of course you are, because look at the price you paid to be here.
Well, sorry I took the conversation this direction. We were talking about the practicalities of hunting a monster, and I was happy. Yeah.
Well, and to your point, I think the way that it's relevant is that some of us wake up in the morning to hunt monsters. And with that, he takes the branch off the ground, pulls his knife back out, and continues to whittle.
Humphrey dips his hat at both of them and walks back to the camp.
with that, I think actually we're going to call it here. It's been over 3 hours and we haven't started the evening's rolls yet. I think, unless anyone else has anything they want to do, this is a great place for us to pause. Great place for
Sure.
us to end off.
Alrighty.
With that,
Alrighty, well, great session.
Yeah. No, that was fun.
Yeah.
I will cue chat in on what I had as the meme for this episode, because I think they'll also enjoy it, which is, go back to just read my own words. These last 2 episodes is everyone just establishing who they go to about their problems when it's not Humphrey. So yeah,
You
no.
can frame it that way. We can frame it as establishing party dynamics.
I mean, that's what it is by definition, but it's also like, you are the default. If we're going to talk about something, we're going to talk about it with Humphrey, because he always seems to have noticed what we notice.
But yeah, no, that was really fun.
But yes, some of us actually do have to go, so why don't we start around the horn? Zan, why don't you go first?
Hi, it's me, Zan. You can catch me over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ZanosGrim, tomorrow at around 7 p.m. PST, where hopefully we'll be getting back to Stalwart Souls. But depends on how I'm feeling or other people are feeling, that might not happen. Still dealing with some of the LA wildfire smoke, so kind of up in the air, but we'll see where we're at. Tuesday, you can catch me over at twitch.tv/DistortionDevil at 2 p.m. PST, where we're continuing through our Vecna Eve of Ruin. We're currently in the Feywild. If that piques your interest, that will be there. And then Thursday, twitch.tv/Montyglue at 7 p.m. PST, we're continuing our playthrough of Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We're pretty deep into that module. We're dealing with some Planescape/Spelljammer nonsense. So that's there for you if you wish. And last but not least, you can catch me over at twitch.tv/TheUnexpectables on Saturday for more Gateway, a Fallout RPG run by one Connor McKinley. So that's me. And I'm going to pass the rock over to Kaz.
hello. I'm Catastrophe Cost. You can find me mostly on Instagram, also on Blue Sky, also in other corners of the internet. I'm not on a hiatus, but I'm just kind of I'm doing whatever I feel like doing, and I don't feel the need to advertise for it. So if you follow me, you'll figure it out. But yeah, just a lot of art, a lot of little cosplay projects, a lot of preparing for bigger cosplay projects. I'm planning 2 very large, very insane, someone help me, competition builds this year. But yeah, if you want to watch some cool stuff unfold, you can find me at there. Yeah. Go Skelly.
Oh no. Hi everybody. Skelly Alpha can be found at Blue Sky and Twitch under the same names. Currently, I am prepping to go on a fun little vacay at the end of next week. So unfortunately, Paper Mario Randomizer probably not going to happen this coming week, but it will be next week after that. We're going to do it every Friday. Other than that, I'm going to be doing a bunch of crafty survival types this coming week until the vacation, including Vintage Story, Minecraft, and Satisfactory. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. I know there's planning in the works of potentially being in a little one-shot intermittent game over on Zito's channel. More to be determined on that in the near future. But other than that, I am still in the market for a more long-term, weekly committal game. So still on the hunt for that. If anybody has a spot somewhere, give me a shout. I'm reachable pretty much anywhere. And other than that, I'm going to be using my 3D model soon. I forgot to mention that at the start.
Oh, nice.
Just got to get the webcam and the hook up the model and the software, and I'm set to go. I'll announce more on that later.
Yeah.
And that's me. And I will throw that over now to Citric.
Hi, hello. I'm Cedric. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Cedricing. Everywhere being places like Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Not much going on my end. Yeah, other than being here. Next time we convene to big bag or Domain of Dread game. I may or may not join for the Friday Paper Mario run. It's just I still don't know when will I get tickets to get back home. So if I do it on Thursday, I'll be there for Friday. Other than that, that is pretty much me. So are we missing anyone? Ceres.
Hello! You can find me all over the internet at Tixdixel. Oh, shit.
Yeah, you cut out there.
Yeah, because my phone did something
Gone.
really stupid.
Oh.
You can find me all over the internet at Tixdixel, where I'm predominantly doing art. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, where I may not necessarily have anything posted like immediately. Although, if we're talking no stream Friday, no stream Saturday, no stream Sunday, I actually might get something posted this weekend. We shall see. We absolutely shall see, because I also have the day off tomorrow. So yeah, no, stuff might be happening actually sooner than later. But that said, the next time you'll see me is the next time we do Paper Mario Randomizer on Skelly's channel, the next time we do No No Love War Extra on Fawn's channel, and the next time we're here for those who wander in 2 weeks.
Which,
But
from
that's
what we've
about
seen, will all be in 1 week, back to back to back.
probably. We shall see. But yeah, if that's everyone else, Vaughn, take us away.
Yes, as I get ready to start this raid here, you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky at BurnoutVaughn and over on Patreon at Burnout's Bar, where we do have content now. I forgot to actually say that. Yeah, if you subscribe to the D&D tier, along with the Pack Hunter Ranger subclass, you will also find the very early draft of Finrook's portfolio of patron packs, which has all 13 of the pack, like homebrewed packs that we drew from for Pack Tactics. So if you want to like see that, yeah, $5. That's it. And we're gonna go keep the D&D train running. We're going over to Farting Tart's channel, where they are in one of the in-game sessions for their very long-term game. So if you want to see some high-level play,
Ooh.
yeah, check it out. That being said, what should our rate message be?
Ed and Eddie.
You know what? Fuck it, we ball.
Let's go.
All right. Thank you all for coming out. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time. We love you. Bye.
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 Bye.